Night number 2 of the New Zealand Modified Championships. Of course, this is the final. This is where it all goes down, where it all happens. But there's a couple of wee incidents and bits and pieces I want to discuss with the head referee that's here, Bill Clarkson, who's come all the way from COVID country to come and have a bit of a chat to us. So, Bill, one of the things I want to talk to you about, obviously, is there's an incident involving Dan Ray last night. So I just want you to try and explain why that all happened and how it all come about.
Yeah, so Dan Ray and Newton Gorge got together in turn 4, I think it was. And after the checkered flag, Dan retaliated on Newton, which resulted in Dan getting a 22-day stand down and a referral to the board.
So let's break that down a wee bit. So there was an on-field incident involving both the cars, which was not Dan Ray's fault. Unfortunately, Dan then decided to take it into his own actions, what happened, which then, of course, you didn't really have to worry about the first incident because the second incident overruled the first one. Is that correct?
No, we still dealt with the first incident. It doesn't negate what happened. So initially what we did is we dealt with the first incident. So Newton was relegated 2 spots. Funnily enough, not for contact, actually for passing over the pole line. When we reviewed the video, Ray came down on Newton, but Newton was over the pole line. Contact was made and Newton carried on. And as we know, you can't use the pole line to gain an advantage, so he got a 2-spot relegation. The penalty is exactly the same for the contact, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. It was a 2-spot relegation. So as a referee, I deal with what's called R rules, which is racing rules. At the end, once the checkered flag is been shown, the race then finished. Anything that happens then falls under the steward, under M rule. M is basically general rules. So that meant that the steward then dealt with the retaliation afterwards. So the on-track incident was dealt with and the retaliation was dealt with. So.
Now, there's a bit of a misconception here that basically because the checkered flag had come out, was under orange light, conditions, that the referee doesn't actually have a say in what happens after that point. It actually comes down to the clerk of the course. Now, that's incorrect, so explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean, the referee does still have, say we can talk about things that we've seen, but anything on track. So you've got the clerk of the course that's obviously involved in there as well, but when it comes to incidents on the track, such as the retaliation, that falls under the steward, and that the steward also has the power when it comes into the pits as well. So for argument's sake, that incident continued into the pits, then obviously there would be some more stuff that would happen with things that happen in the pits, but that didn't happen.
Okay, so let's talk about the penalties in relation to all this. Obviously, a 22-day stand down is what you've issued to Dan Ray and a referral to the board. So, is that really, does the crime suit the time he's going to get, or do you think it reflects exactly the punishment he should have got?
Well, that's not for me to say. That's the fixed penalties, and that's what it is. My own personal experience, there's a lot of money tied up in these cars, and I've owned them. When you finish the race, especially in open wheel type vehicles and modifieds, you're not expecting somebody to come and clout into your car. There could have been damage to both cars, which could have put them out of the New Zealand title. And really, leave it on the racetrack. And if there's a problem, let the referees deal with it. And as we would have. It's unfortunate for both drivers, and it's unfortunate for Dan Ray as well, but as I said, the fixed penalty is the fixed penalty.
Consistency is what you're looking for when it comes to rulings throughout tracks throughout New Zealand. The consistency is such that a couple of weeks ago a similar thing happened with some production drivers with the same outcome. And I think from what I understand, it's not a good thing if you do retaliate on the track, because if you don't do anything about it, then it opens it up for other people in other classes to perhaps maybe do the same thing. So where do you draw the line?
Well, and that's exactly right. The rules are the rules. If we allowed people to get away with it, then it would just be wildfire. And it's the same in every sport. I mean, it's the same in rugby. They don't allow retaliation or any of that sort of carry on. So just play by the rules, play fair, play hard, and everything's good.
It's safe to say you rule from the rule book and you don't rule of emotion, which is obviously something that you've tried to introduce to a lot of the officials that you deal with as well. You can be the best buddy with somebody, you can have a friends and all that sort of stuff, but when it comes to the actual ruling, you use the rule book.
Yeah, and I mean, I take my own personal experience. I'm friends with a lot of drivers throughout the country, but that means nothing when they go out on the racetrack. They're all grey, they're just a number. And we've got to make sure that every competitor has a fair and equal opportunity to win a championship or a race, and you can't do that with favouritism. You've got to be fair, you've got to be consistent.
Now tell me, you've done a lot of trekking around the New Zealand this season, especially this season and stuff. Is this the whole idea of Speedway New Zealand's moving forward plan? Is it to basically have it so that you do get to as many tracks as you can to try and bring out the consistency at each and individual track?
Yeah, so the head officials group has done a lot of travelling this year. We did quite a bit last year as well. It's actually showing dividends. The amount of protests and appeals that we've had in the past are not as high as what they are or have been. They're really, really low, in fact. The enthusiasm for people wanting to be part of our officials team is growing. A lot of people approach me, how do I become an official, which is great. It means we're doing a good job. But more importantly, the competitors are coming and saying to us, hey, we can go anywhere at any track throughout the country, and we know we're all playing on the same playing field regardless, and to us that's really important. It's all very well sitting back in our different towns that we all live in and with the head officials group and talking on the Zooms and that we do, but boots on ground gives us an opportunity to see the environment that they're working in and offer some support and advice that will assist them in being better officials.
Absolutely, it's obviously a good thing, and you're not going to keep everybody happy, are you? And that's just the nature of the beast. But I suppose at the end of the day, and that's not be disrespectful to Dan Ray here, but if that situation ever happens again or occurs again, I'm pretty sure he might make a different decision next time, knowing full well what the penalties will be.
I'm sure he will, and as I said, I feel sorry for Dan. I know the steward does as well. It's not personal; it's to the rule book, and yeah, I mean, great guy, but it is what it is.
Alrighty then, so back to this meeting here. It's been a fantastic meeting so far, a lot of action, so to speak. Has it been pretty easy for you? Is it I know you've been down to the van a few times, and obviously lots of people have plenty to say, but is it a good meeting? Is it something you've enjoyed whilst you've been down here?
Oh, absolutely. I really look forward to the modifieds. It was a busy night last night because obviously every second race was a modified race, so I was really run off my feet. The great thing about having you guys here is it gives me an opportunity to look at the fantastic video you guys have got to make sure that those calls are spot on. I'm pleased that every call last night was on the money. We're not even halfway through this championship yet. We had a whole bunch of races last night. We've got just as many tonight, if not more. A couple of the drivers who were woken up this morning, seen their points, know what they've got to do. I think you'll see the heat really turn up tonight. And that 30-lap main, you do all the work to get into there, and they've got to race clean 30 laps. We don't have a situation where we do in Section 10 vehicles, midgets, sprint cars, TQs, etc., where they can serve a penalty during the race. Section 11 modifieds don't have that rule. So they need to make sure that those 30 laps are squeaky clean, because you could win the race on the track but lose it by a referee's decision. I hope that doesn't happen, but who knows.
Now, you're going to keep in close contact with you. As I was talking to Aaron, if I grab Aaron in here, so Aaron's from Garage 16, we were talking about this actually, and we said about like presentations and stuff like that, Aaron, and I sort of said to him, look, you're a bit reluctant to, there's obviously scheduled to be a bit of an infield presentation, but that what you might see across the line in first, second and third might not be the case when it comes to the presentations. And I'm going to hand you over to Aaron, you can tell him all about it.
You ready for this?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, so obviously because they don't have a situation where they can serve a penalty during a race, anything that they do during the race, which for argument's sake might be a two-spot relegation, that would be then handed to them at the end of the race. So effectively you could win the race, but if you passed a car to gain an advantage, which is a two-spot relegation under the fixed penalties, you might end up only being third. So the key to it is, and I'll be telling the drivers again, reiterating it at drivers briefing, the key to is in the 30-lap main is to make sure that you're nice and clean, you don't do anything that could incur a penalty. If you think that you've done something that may occur in a penalty, you have the option to readdress, as long as it's quite clear that you've done it, and you may not be penalised. So look, it's tricky for me. I don't like being that person, but at the end of the day, as I've said, you've got to be fair to all the competitors. and the person who drives clean for 30 laps is going to be winning this New Zealand title tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, obviously the drivers, they're all out there to win, and you know, behind the wheel there is a lot of emotion and all of that sort of stuff, and at the end of the day the sport has to have the rules to abide by. That's your guys' job to implement that. So effectively, if everyone behaves tonight, we could have some fairly early on presentations, but this is a New Zealand title, so things have got to be done right. So after the cars come in, they will be all checked, scrutineered, all of that sort of stuff. You guys will do your job up in the booth, and then from there we'll finally crown our 1NZ.
Yeah, and one of the things I do being an ex-competitor is I've been in these situations before myself. I make sure that when we have an opportunity under yellows and such, that I get on that driver's radio and I let them know just to take a deep breath, calm down, keep focused, especially when there's been an incident. Just take that time, take a deep breath. You know, a long way to go, a lot on the line. I know exactly what these guys are going to be thinking. So, as I said, the person who's nice and clean for 30 laps will be the New Zealand champion tonight. I'm looking forward to it. The calibre of drivers we got here, I don't think that we're going to have any issues at all. I mean, they've shown last night just how good they are, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome, Bill. Well, thank you very much for all the work you guys do, and Speedway New Zealand, and all your volunteers and officials that come and make all this happen. We know the job's not as easy as probably what it may seem from the outside, but without you guys, none of this happens. So good luck up in the booth tonight, and thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Okie dokie. So next up, we have Steve Lennon here. He is a promoter for the Koken Woodford Glen Speedway, mate. What an awesome event we've got going here. It's finally finals night.
Yeah, take two. After being in level 2, we were in level 1 and we're racing, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. The crowd's building nicely. Our pre-sales have been awesome. It's going to be an awesome night. Can't wait.
Magic, mate. And you've put on the great Canterbury weather. We've got a bit of warmth, but we've got a bit of cloud cover, so everyone's not frying. So, geez, these conditions are perfect, mate.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, especially for the fans. Maybe not so much for the poor guys in the modifieds in particular with their 3-layer suits, but I'd say the night will cool down a bit later on, as it did last night. And obviously the good side about that, apart from this heat, later on when it cools down, a bit of dew comes up and the track should hopefully stay as good as it did last night. Should be awesome.
Absolutely. And look, we've had a wonderful season here at Koken Woodford Glen. Given the fact that everyone's been dealing with COVID, obviously we're pretty strong supporters of the modified, so we've been able to enjoy the Canterbury Champs down here, the South Island Champs, but you guys have had some other great events with the Battle of the Stocks. Man, your team has done a really good job putting all of this together.
Yeah, we have, you know, and team's the key there, Aaron, like you know that. We've got an awesome team here. There's not just me as the promoter. I'm just part of the one guy that does a lot of the organising. I've got a really good team behind me, all of our staff, our volunteers, and we've had some adversity this year. Obviously, as you're aware, the level change, meaning we didn't decide to run that first original date of 19th and 20th of Feb. Then we lost our street stock state of origin that was scheduled for March the 6th, also to COVID. So, but we planned for this. We, you know, after last year, we identified, put some processes in place that we knew what we were going to do if the need arose, and we've actually done a pretty good job, I think, and yeah, we're stoked. We've had a really good year so far.
Yeah, well, you guys have definitely done a good job, and I know on behalf of the modifieds community that decision around the 19th and 20th of February, it was a very difficult decision to make, but the bottom line is we just wouldn't have been able to get every competitor here. Now look at what we've got. We've got 30 of the best in the country. We've had a great night of qualifying. Now we're going into the finals night, and I think we've got around about 28 cars back here tonight to have a really good crack at it. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and I'm sure your team are going to put on a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. You're dead right. I think there's the quality's really good. Like, as we know, this is probably the biggest field of modifieds at a New Zealand Championship in a very, very long time, if not history. It's really good for the class. It's really positive. The class is showing some good growth. And to have the calibre of drivers here that we have got this weekend, it's awesome. And it's testament to those guys, like you say. Only 28 cars left running after losing only 2 cars is pretty damn good. You know, one of them was to an accident, pretty bad accident. So just shows the level of driving and the respect that those drivers have for each other. They're a good group, and like you say, postponing it to allow everyone the opportunity to make it here was by far the best choice we made.
Absolutely. So it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the last big event for Woodford Glen for the season. So, and I know you guys have had a very big season. So, so what do you get up to after tonight? I'm sure there's a bit more work to do, but do you get to have a bit of a relax from here?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow morning, a bit of a sleep in and stuff like that. We'll just have a bit of a pack down out here, and I'll come out and give our grounds guy a hand to lock things up and just do a bit of off-season pack down stuff. But yeah, then it's a bit of time off, but then there's obviously reports to do, get ready for AGM and so forth. And then obviously October we start again, so it's not really a rest. It's actually, a lot of people say, oh, your off-season must be quiet. I says, actually, it's quieter during the season. It's actually off-season where you've got to plan everything again. So yeah, but we're already well into that, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome, mate. Well, I tell you what, Garage 16, we have absolutely loved being down here at Woodford Glen this season. It's been absolutely brilliant, and it has been great. We've been able to put this collaboration together with the Pits TV to live stream, to showcase your amazing track all the way across the country. So thanks to Pits TV for that. Thank you for putting it all on, and we hope you guys really enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, exactly. Hey, this is a great collaboration, you know, like 2 media companies is probably a little bit odd and a little bit, but it's actually working really good, and I think it's a testament to yourselves from Garage 16 and Jason and his guys getting together and putting this together just so everyone can see this deal. You know, it's not about personalities in this, it's actually what's good for the fans, what they want to watch, what they want to see, and obviously a huge thanks to Garage 16 for the major sponsorship of this event and the other events throughout our season. And yeah, and like you say, the Pits TV, you know, they're the best streaming company in the country, aren't they?
They certainly are. They certainly are. Well, thanks for your time, Steve. Have a good evening.
All right, I am here with the president of the club, Ivan. Ivan, how has this weekend been going for you so far?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a wee bit of pressure, but we've got a good team behind us, and we've had this planned for a while now because we got postponed for our initial running of it, but we had everything in place. Yeah, it's going to be busy, but you know, it's going to be a great night.
Excellent. Have you been enjoying the modified action so far? Because it's been a couple of years since you had the New Zealand national title for the modifieds here. What's your take on this class, especially in Canterbury, where it is probably the biggest in the country?
Yeah, we've had some really good growth in the class down here, and we've got some real young drivers coming through, some hot shots from karting and that. So yeah, we're seeing good modified racing week in, week out. We're lucky, you know, we're fielding 15 cars, 12 to 15 cars quite on a regular basis, where a lot of tracks are struggling to do that.
That's right. And what do you think your secret is to having this many modifieds? Because I know other tracks do struggle sometimes even to get a meeting in place. The numbers are really lifted, but what's the secret of Woodford Glen's big turnout for modifieds? What do you reckon? Yeah,
that's a hard one. It's like any class, isn't it? They have their ups and downs, but I think the young fellas coming through, they just want to get into a modified, bit different to a sprint car. They could go and travel other places. Yeah, it's one of those hard ones, and it's just like anything. The super stocks take a dive, or the street stocks take a dive, and then they come back up again. But yeah, we've been lucky that the modifieds have picked up for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I know Jacob Mitchell, who's come from go-karts. He's in the 18C. He's doing really well this weekend. He's surprising a lot of people. He's probably not surprising his family because they know how good he is, but doing excellent job. So those karting guys coming through, definitely good. What's your role tonight? Because you're not just you have quite a few roles throughout the night that you have to do, including some commentary. So what does this night consist for you?
Yeah, well, I'll be doing some commentary. I look after the super stocks and stock cars and help with the street stocks and that. I'll be running around doing presidential stuff and helping out wherever I can and doing the odd interview with you guys.
So presidential stuff, that's not like smoking cigars and drinking whiskey or anything?
No, we don't get that luxury. No, it might be the toilets need toilet paper or something like that. But hey, we just dig in and get it done. We want to put on a great event and find a worthy New Zealand champion at the end of it.
Excellent. Well, it's turned out to be a great weekend so far, and all the action is going to be happening tonight at the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championships. We'll be talking to 1, 2 and 3 NZ at about 5:30 with you, Ivan, so we'll see you in the middle of the field shortly. But we're going to cross over to Aaron now in front of the board and get this party started.
Okay, we are here finally. It is the 2021 Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championship. We are here at Coke Woodford Glen. Now we are standing in front of the board and we're going to explain to you guys a little bit more about all of the action from last night and all of that sort of stuff. But about last night, Vince, the qualifiers were great. 30 of the best cars here in the country. at the Woodford Glen Speedway. It was pretty cool.
Mate, there was so much action. I had to bring notes because my little brain couldn't handle all of it. It's simply, it's been absolutely fantastic. And tonight, mate, I know what's to come, and I'm trying to keep it cool, because it's going to be awesome stuff tonight, and I simply can't wait. But unfortunately, there are a couple of drivers, as you know, that can't make it out tonight. The first being, of course, Steve Sinclair, 82C, who took a bit of a tumble in the first turn in his last heat of the night. So what actually happened? Do you know what happened to his car? You said he wrote it off.
Yeah, no, he has. Unfortunately, the car's been written off. But the good news is Steve hasn't. I've had a chat to Steve this morning. He said he's feeling a little bit sore and a little bit bruised and stuff, but he's okay. Unfortunately, it looks like the chassis damage is pretty bad, so what they're kind of hoping is like the engine and all of the running gear and all of that should still be all right. Then it's just a case of another chassis, get back into it next season. But I know Steve and his family, they are going to be here tonight to watch the racing, because if you can't be racing, you've got to be watching it. So big shout out to the Sinclairs there from SRT Motorsport. And not good though to destroy a car. No one wants that. And it was his first championship, so he's not going to forget it.
No, that's right. And being on his home track as well will be equally gutting. And I know he has a lot of
fans here, because naturally we go around and ask, who's your favourite for winning this weekend? Steve Sinclair has definitely popped up quite a few times, but unfortunately there was an incident last night which meant that one of the favourites from the Canterbury club isn't able to compete any longer in the Modified Championships, and we heard a bit from Bill Clarkson, the head referee, before, but that is unfortunately Dan Ray after a bit of a retaliation incident last night, so we won't be seeing any more of him.
Yeah, no, unfortunately we won't, but as Bill explained, the rules are the rules, and we'll leave that side of it to the people that know a lot more about it. But look, there was while we're talking about issues, there was a few issues last night, but for the most part the racing was pretty clean. Alan Haig, who's getting back into racing after a reasonable amount of time out, he got tangled up in one of the incidents last night. So unfortunately for him, it was a bit of a tough night. Missed a couple of heats.
Yeah, it was his first heat that he got knocked out.
Yeah, and having a look at the board up here behind us, unfortunately he's only got 3 points. But the good news is the guys at Edge Parts and Performance, and we interviewed 69C Andrew Naven last night from Edge Parts and Performance. Those guys opened up the shop last night, gave those guys all of the parts that they needed, and we can see that the 59C is sitting over there in the pits ready to go tonight, so that's good. So that means we've got 28 cars here, which is not too bad.
Yeah, that's right, and we talked about it last night. One of the things we love about Speedway in general, and especially modifieds, is people bend over backwards to get cars up and running, even if they're competition. As you said, they opened up the shop late at night after a long meeting, and he's back here, and he's going to be having a lot of fun tonight. Another one, a former 1NZ, Steve Thompson. One of his wheels came off, I think his axle broke or something like that, and I saw his wheel just floating on down the track. So where is he on the sport? He doesn't have too many points. I don't know where he's on the patrol board. It's too big a flash board. But so Steve Thompson, he's going to be wanting to make the most of these next few heats, because he doesn't want to be in that repecharge, because there's a lot of pressure on those repecharges.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, at the end of our spiel here, we are going to show the format video again, but the good thing about the way that this championship is structured is you could kind of miss one race. A few of the guys, they miss more than one, so they're probably heading more towards repecharge territory tonight.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's what repecharges are for. So 16 of the top go right through, and there's still 4 spots left. And as all you Speedway fans will know, as long as you get your car out on the dirt, you've got an opportunity to do something. So I'm sure those guys will be given it heaps.
That's right, and one person that I don't want to say surprised me last night, because I don't want to make it sound like I don't expect much from her, but 11C Cassandra Massey, she's doing really well. She's currently 17th place on points with 15 points. It seems that she's just avoiding all the carnage at the front and finishing in strong positions, and she'll be really happy with that, because she's been out of racing for quite a while. Is that right?
Yeah, about 10 years. So it's been 10 years, and Cassandra is the daughter of Mike Gourlay, so he's a very very well-known modified driver here at Woodford, Glen, and around the country. Obviously, we know him quite well because he came up to our Modified Super Series last year as a replacement for Dan Ray. Unfortunately, he had to pull out, and he absolutely blitzed the field. So clearly, racing runs in the family. So to get back into one of these wing beasts, first season back, Cassandra has just been building and building and building on her season, which is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, you're right. She came out last night and she got on with the job, collected some points, and put herself in a reasonably good position tonight just to carry on that good form and have a good night.
Yeah, and I really hope we get to have a chat to her a bit later. But Jacob Mitchell, 18C, mate, 18 years of age,
Wow.
second season in a modified, came from go-karting, won 2 heats last night. He's currently tied up in first place, won 25 points. How is that for some driving skills for the young fella?
Man, this guy has been thrilling the crowds all season. So we got to meet Jacob when we got here very early on in the season, and everyone said that, hey, this kid's going to be a little bit special. But man, have we watched him just jump in that car, hits the loud pedal, and away he goes. And whether it's the inside line or the outside line, because he seems to quite like the outside line, he'll give it a go. But you can tell, like, all of the really experienced guys and the guys that are really, really fast and have confidence in your car, especially here at Woodford Glen, they don't get too far past the checkered flag and they're already stepping that back end out. And to see a teenage driver jumping these things, coming out of karting, and it's like he's been sitting in the car for years and years and years. So definitely watch out on the live stream tonight for Jacob. With Dan Ray out, he could be one of the big hopefuls for Christchurch. Not saying the only hopeful. Christchurch has some great drivers here with Andrew David and Ralph Goodwin and all sorts of names here. But unfortunately, with Dan out and Steve out, I'm sure everyone's going to be looking for Jacob to carry the torch for Woodford Glen.
That's right. I think he stands a good chance of stepping on that podium tonight. But another one, of course, the current champion, 1NZ, Brad Lane. He is doing very well tonight. Where's he sitting? He's on 23 points, only 2 points behind the lead. Just 2 points. So with the 1NZ on his wing, he'll be wanting to retain that. And tonight is a big night for him. We haven't had a chat to him yet, so we don't know what sort of headspace he's in. But he is the professional, so I'm sure he's going to have a great evening. What do you reckon? What do you reckon's going to? You know Brad pretty well.
Yeah, I've been over. I've had a chat to Rocket Racing over there at the trailer tonight, and look, they're pumped for this. Look, that family, they love winning. They're very, very proud of having the title, but they just love racing so much. And Brad's over there. He looks reasonably relaxed. I don't know how relaxed I would be if I was the current 1NZ going into a title so far away from home. But geez,
it's in the glasses, mate. You wear the cool glasses and you're pretty cool inside.
Yeah, well, that's the one. And he quite often walks around without a shirt on, and that would exclude me anyway.
Only you'd notice that, wouldn't you, Aaron?
Okay, that's all good.
All right,
so,
moving on.
Look, Brad he's got his head right and he's all good. And then moving on from Brad, obviously Blair McPhee, the lone wolf from Wellington, he went pretty good last night too, Vince.
He is the lone wolf because Jonas England unfortunately couldn't make it after discovering some maintenance problems with his engine, which essentially would have meant if he did come, he would have blown it to smithereens, and he simply can't blow an engine to smithereens when they cost as much as they do. But Blair McPhee, 2NZ, he is currently on 24 points, only 1 point off the lead. He had an amazing night last night. To come down here from the Wellington track all by himself, he has quite a few mates, to be honest. I was going to say he doesn't have any teammates, but he's a well-liked guy in the class, and he performed brilliantly last night, only 1 point off the lead. So the 1 and the 2NZ looking very strong and promising to get their foot on that podium again.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 2NZ, and then the other form driver of the season, the 3NZ, Luke Brown. So he has pretty much just won almost everything he's touched this season. Canterbury champs, South Island champs, North Island champs. There was a few other ones there. I think won something up in Hunley.
We stopped counting.
Yeah, we stopped counting. So look, it's all well and good winning, and I've just come down to that consistency. But Luke's one of the hardest working drivers on the grid. I know he would have been straight back to the hotel last night. He would have been studying his night, studying where everything's at, and a real student of the sport.
He puts my notes to shame, that's for sure.
Yes, he certainly does, but that's all good. But hey, look, I think We've got 3 top class drivers there. Obviously, you don't get numbers on your car unless you're really, really good. But look, it's modified. Like anyone can win on the night. So the pressure and the expectation that must come from having those numbers on your car and going out and performing, I think it's a real credit to them, because there's them and a few others that have been in form. They came in on the qualifying night and they showed their class. They did what they were supposed to do. They got out there and raced. They raced consistently. They collected the points, and they go into night 2 without too many dramas. So for you fans out there, this is going to be absolutely awesome. Like the way that everything's set up tonight, it's really, really close.
So still have those guys in the final night to start off with, and within a couple of points of each other. It's shaping up to be an epic night for the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champions. But mate, it's not just about the 1, 2 and 3 NZ. We also have 11A Jamie Fox competing here. Now he is a 4-time New Zealand champion, and I looked up how many podiums he's been on in the Champions and South Island Champs and all that sort of thing, and it's just a very, very long list. He's potentially one of the greatest of all times to ever be in a modified. That's one of my opinions anyway. I don't know how you feel about Jamie Fox, but last night again he's performing all right, but he's in the middle of the pack. So tonight he's going to be wanting to prove a point and show those young guys up front that his experience is worth a lot on that dirt.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, good to see Jamie down here from Auckland. We've got Daniel Crump down from Auckland as well. So and obviously Luke too, who we've already talked about. Another big supporter of the modifieds class, and great to see them here because they are very, very good at what they do. Is the Stratford contingent. Like these guys come down from. They love modifieds at Stratford Speedway, right?
Sure do,
Stratford International Speedway. We've been there a few times. We went there for
fantastic.
the North Island Champs last year. Great place, great people, and as I said, they love their modifieds. So they're down here to give it a crack, and man, do they have some superstars in their lineup. We've got Bunter Pierce, we got Jason Kalen, Newton Gorge, John Jackson. It's awesome.
The list goes on, mate, and let's bring it back to Bunter Pierce, 67S. He has won the New Zealand Championships twice now. He's also won it in the Super Saloon class as well, and he's currently leading on 25 points, so first equal. So he is out the front there, so he's on form. He's a bit of a more old school driver. I think when thinking about Luke and Bunter, they're almost complete opposites. Luke likes to plan everything down to the T, and Bunter's pretty much does the hard work to get his car ready, chucks it on the track, and then he just goes by feel, and he doesn't believe in a plan. He just plays it by ear, and it seems to be working out very well in his career and very well tonight. He's still as relevant as ever, giving these young guys a run for their money. But also from Stratford, John Jackson, 71S. He's having a good championship too. A lot better than last year. I remember you talking to him last night about his blown tyre with Dean Owens there. So we haven't seen that from him yet. He does get a little bit fiery when that sort of stuff happens, but he's having a great championship so far, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he certainly is, and that's all good. Obviously, Newton, he was wrapped up in a little bit of controversy yesterday, obviously with that tangle with Dan and what happened afterwards. But Jason Kalen, like I said, he's seen his messages on Facebook today. He wasn't too happy with his performance, but that 12S, that guy can really pedal that car, and another true Speedway family. They've got one of their children in a mini stock, and Mandy Kalen, she gets in and she helps with club repping and all of that sort of stuff.
She's actually here tonight as well, doing the repping for the championships as well. So she's doing a great job handling all these modified drivers. And then their son's also an iSim racing. Is that what you call it?
iRacing, he's doing well in iRacing, iSim racing.
Yeah, I'm too old.
Okay, well, you leave that to me.
I will, mate. You can have that one any day of the week. But so as you can see, the first night of the Garage 16 New Zealand Championships was a great one, and tonight is shaping up to be absolutely fantastic. So stick around and get the stream if you haven't already bought it for tonight, because you don't want to miss what's coming up next. I can't wait, Aaron. What about you?
Yeah, mate, I absolutely can't wait. So yeah, definitely get the stream, have a watch. It's going to be absolutely epic. I believe we will go a little bit more over the points, but I do believe we're going to have a little bit of a look at the format.
That's the one.
Format for tonight. So yeah, have a little bit of a look at this video to give you a bit of an idea in terms of what's going on. It does include what was happening last night, but about halfway through you'll start getting a good understanding of what's going on tonight. So we'll cross over to of the format, and then we'll come back and we're going to have a bit of a closer look at the points on this board.
There are over 30 drivers entered in the championship. The drivers are divided up into 6 groups. The groups are seeded, meaning that the best drivers are dispersed evenly throughout the groups so that no group is stacked. Each group is named after a sponsor. Group 1 is Koken. Group 2 is Anderton Decorators. Group 3 is Edge Parts and Performance. Group 4 is PG Hydraulics. Group 5 is Value Cars. And Group 6 is Recreation Hotel. Each group races each of the other groups, resulting in 15 heats in total, 5 heats per group. There are 3 heats on the first night and 2 on the second night. The drivers accumulate points over those heats. A driver will be awarded 12 points for first place, 11 points for second place, and so on until 12th place, who gets 1 point. Drivers get no points if they are unable to start or finish a race. After each group has raced 5 heats, the 16 drivers with the most points qualify for the 30-lap feature final. The driver with the most points gets to choose between grid position 1 and 2 for the final. The rest of the drivers are gridded up in order of their ranking by points. That leaves 4 available places in the final. These places will be filled by the first 2 across the finish line in each of the 2 repecharges. A repecharge is a last chance race for drivers who haven't managed to qualify for the final to do so. The first 2 across the line in each repecharge will fill the last 4 positions on the starting grid for the feature final. From there, it's simple. The first to cross the finish line after 30 laps is the latest New Zealand Modified Champion.
All right, so we are here in front of the points board. We're going to break it a little bit more down for you. In first place at the moment across the groups, we have 4 drivers. So we have Bunter Pierce, which is 67S, as we talked about before. He's in first place on 25 points. We've also got Luke Brown on 25 points in first place. We have Jacob Mitchell, the 18C, on first as well. And also Newton Gorge, 21S. So 4 people in first place. And then there's a few more drivers on 24 and 23, so there's a lot of drivers stacked at the top there, so they're all with a great chance. But let's go to these groups now, because it'll be the races tonight, and how they perform in these groups will determine who gets through to the feature final and who will have to go into one of those 2 repecharges, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, we've broken into 6 groups. We've only got a couple of cars missing, so you will be seeing the majority of all of these drivers out there tonight. So 6 groups: Koken, Anderton Decorators, Edge Parts and Performance, PG Hydraulics, Value Cars and Recreation Hotel. And as you can see with these groups, the point spread is it's kind of all over the place, which is quite good, because you got sort of 25 points there at the top, Brad Lane's on 23, up over the top right there we've got Blair McPhee on 24 points. So given the fact that these points are so close, a lot of it, we've got 2 more heats tonight in order to finish off these points. So we've still got Heat 4 and Heat 5 to go for each group. So they'll be going for it to try and get as many points as they can, because those top 16 spots, they're going to dictate that grid for the 30-lap final. And that's going to be really, really important. Qualifying for this event is important, because the further back you are on the grid, the more carnage you can be involved in and all of that sort of stuff that goes on. So it is really, really important that they get a good qualifying position. But if you don't make it, after these 2 heats tonight, there is one more shot for those. They get to come and do 2 repecharges, right, Vince?
That's right. So the remainders that don't get in, they get split up into one of 2 repecharges, and they will fill the final 4 spots of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championship final. But if we're going back to the sport here and having a look at the groups, at the moment, if you look at there's 5 in each group. You got the drivers in the top 2 places in each group are looking pretty good tonight, so they'll be wanting to keep the consistency going. The third drivers on a bit of a knife edge, and the bottom 2 drivers, they're really looking at a great performance tonight, otherwise a repechage will be inevitable. So if we go to Koken Group, Brad Lane on 23 points at the top of the group there. He is sitting very pretty there. Dan Ray on 15, unfortunately, as you know, he is no longer competing in this. But down in the bottom here we have 13C Evan Nicol, but to be honest, we know Evan quite well, and he's a great guy. He's just here for the fun of it, and he's so happy to be out on the track, so he won't be too worried about that. He'll enjoy himself for the 2 heats tonight, and probably the repechage as well. But that's the Koken Woodford Koken group. So let's move on to the Anderton Decorators. We have Blair McPhee, the 2NZ, on 24 points, just 1 point off the lead. So he's doing very well. So he will most likely, fingers crossed, make it through to the final without having to face the repechage. But Aaron, we have Newton Gorge here on 25.
Yeah, Newton, definitely. He is sitting up there, obviously involved in a little bit of controversy as we mentioned last night. But yep, 25 points, and then followed by Alan Haig. So as we said, had issues with his car last night. So Alan will be looking to get out there, get his car dialed in over heats 4 and 5, and then probably looking to go to the repechage.
It's Spellak's dress rehearsal for the repechage for him. He's wanting to get his car in shape for that, because that'll be probably his only chance of getting through, won't it?
Yeah, that's right. And obviously Andrew Navan had a couple of issues last night as well. I've seen him take his helmet off, pull to the infield, just weighs down on 12 points, which probably doesn't reflect the talent there. So yeah, there will be some opportunities obviously for these guys to have another crack if they don't make it through to the top 16. But moving on down to the edge parts and performance group, so we've got Luke Brown in there. Nathan Astle, he had a good run last night. He did win one of his heats. We've got John Jackson in there as well, so as you mentioned, absolute superstar of the sport.
Yeah, he's only 1 point off the lead as well.
That's right, mate, and look out for his car. It's a green car, awesome livery, and there's a Shrek figure sticking out the back, so you definitely can't miss John Jackson's car.
Right.
Then we've got Ian White and Jason Scott. So now I would pass this over to you, but I really want to have a talk about this group, mate.
No,
so I'm going to hog them.
I'm going to
hog.
So if you talk about, no, you can talk about this group.
Okay, thanks, mate. Because the PG Hydraulics group, this one, wow, look at this group. So 25 points, 24 points, 22, 18. Look at the names that we've got here. So we've got Jamie Fox, 4-time champ, Jacob Mitchell, the 18C, the young fella that we were talking about before, just a revelation for the season. Hayden Corbett, absolutely brilliant driver. So Hayden's a few down on points, which I was a little bit surprised on, because very, very good driver. And
it's his home track as well.
Home track as well. And then we've got another hometown guy, Michael Gawley, sitting on 22 points. Michael's very well known for running the pole line. So I'm sure if he gets his car running and humming tonight, he's going to be one to watch. He is not going to settle for these other guys in this group
No, that's
taking
right.
any of the points off him, is he?
Yeah, no, when he's got his car all correct and set up perfectly, there is no catching this guy. As we saw at last season's Modified Super Series, he was simply streaks ahead of the rest. So definitely watch out for Mike Corley. But yeah, as Aaron said, Barry Hunter and Hayden Corbett on the knife edge there, and possibly facing a repechage, but still 2 heats. So anything could change in that time. But let's go to the Value Cars Warehouse group. We have on 25 points and tied for first place, 67S Bunter Pears from Stratford. I mentioned before he's won the New Zealand Champs 2 times, so he is no stranger to the pressure of a finals night. He's been in his fair share of finals, and I think that experience is going to pay off, especially at a track as unique as Woodford Glen, being one of the an egg shape, unlike a lot of the other tracks that these drivers are from. So I think his experience and his skill is going to come in very well here. The rest of these guys are relatively in the middle, so they'll all be looking for having a good night tonight as well. They've got to fight it out to avoid those repechage. But Bunter Pierce sitting pretty at the moment, but as I said, anything can change. And Aaron, did you want to take this group, or are you going to let me do it?
Well, the Recreation Hotel group, you don't mind a bit of recreation, mate, so how about we let you start it and I'll finish her off.
All right. Let's go with that one. So, the first place in this group, we have 5 GM from Greymouth, Brandon Parkinson. He had a pretty decent night last night. He's only 4 points off the lead, so he's sitting very well going into this evening, which I think is going to do him very well. He's been to Woodford Glen quite a few times, as Aaron and I talked about yesterday. The Greymouth drivers come over and support Woodford Glen quite a bit, and vice versa. They often get Woodford Glen drivers often go over to the coast and get over there for some good racing. So excellent to see him doing well in front of a lot of his fans. And then we have in second place in this group Atama Holland. Now Atama Holland, he wrecked his car about a month ago at the Zealand Modified Championshops, and we didn't think he would make it back.
Yeah, no, we didn't. It looked like it was reasonably severe, but he's managed to get that car here for the New Zealand. So so the gold miner from over on the coast obviously knows how to get a car back on track as well.
Hopefully mining some gold tonight.
Oh, hopefully.
Thanks.
So look, and then we've got from there. Yep, we've got Jason Kalin from Stratford. Already had a chat about Jason. He's one of my favourite drivers to watch. So Jason, I'm sure, will go well this evening. And then it's pretty close between the two locals. Now, quite surprised to see these guys on the number of points that they've got. They're the local guys and they know the track. So I don't think these number of points reflects the talent, because Ralph's had some good results this season.
Yep.
Kevin Bann, he's kind of getting back into modifieds, but I think he got back in last season, dialing things up this season. So look, none of these guys are going to go down without a fight. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So that's pretty much where our points stand. So we're going to go and
This is Barry Brown, so he's he is.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep updating these points through the evening, and we're going to make sure that we try and keep you guys as up to date as possible. But what you will have to remember is that what happens on the track, as soon as those cars come back through the pit chute, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's all over. Okie dokie. So look, at the end of the day, all the officials up in the referee's box, they have to make some decisions. So
sorry to ditch you there, mate, but we've actually got someone that I'd like to bring in called Barry Brown from up north. Welcome, Barry. Thanks for being here. I just wanted to get a bit of an expert opinion about your thoughts on last night and how you think this is all going.
Yeah, certainly the cream was rising to the top, I think. I came down here thinking Brad Lane very likely to defend his title. Luke Brown probably looking next best, I think, but watching Luke last night, I think Brad's probably going to have to step up a little bit more. Blair McPhee and the 2NZ, all three of them kept out of trouble last night, and but yeah, there's only a couple of points between the top 8 at the moment, so club did a great night last night. I think if they can get a bit of a wider racetrack earlier tonight than they did last night, yeah, the 30-lap final is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to be in for an excellent one tonight. But you've obviously been involved quite a bit with modifieds. What's your sort of background and what's your story?
Yeah, it's mainly been with commentary over the years, and sort of mostly followed the super stock. So I haven't got to see the modifieds a lot in recent years. And I wasn't going to make it this year either, but with the date changes due to COVID and that, it gave me a free weekend to fly down from Auckland, so why not?
Fair enough, from the COVID city. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to have you here, mate. And any predictions for this evening? You see the 1, 2, 3 are in pretty good shape, but if you put them to the side, who do you think's performed really well and maybe surprised you, or going to give it a really good shot to get on that podium tonight?
Yeah, I think the 18C local car here, local track knowledge, ex-Leach Motorsport car, he did surprise me. You hear a fair bit about some of these guys before you come down, but I think the disadvantage they've got is the Auckland guys. Jamie Fox, another one, done a lot of laps around here. Track hasn't really been that kind to him over the years, but they know how to keep out of trouble early in that. And I think anybody in the top 8 at the moment, if they can get through the next 2 heats cleanly, they'll be in with a chance. But some of these Auckland guys have run down here, and the Waikato guys have run down here quite regularly. So very unusual track, Woodford Glen, with the tight turns 3 and 4 and the 2 long straights. But the visiting drivers have done a lot of laps around here in the last few years as well, on a season by season. So I don't think that the locals do have that huge advantage.
Excellent. And with we've got quite a few guys that have been around for quite a while. As you mentioned, Jamie Fox, 11A, he's won many titles. Bunter Pearce has been around a long time too. So how do you feel that their experience is going to come into play tonight? Do you reckon these young guys are going to be feeling it? I mean, obviously 1, 2, 3 NZ, all younger guys have proved they've got what it takes, but these older guys, they have the skills and the experience. Do you reckon that gives them a bit of an advantage in some sort of way?
I think it always does. Even our younger guys now have obviously been racing for a few years, all out of mini stocks, all doing really well. But yeah, the older guys, I was just watching Jamie Fox last night thinking I've been involved in the sport nearly 35 years and involved in photography, commentary and stuff like that. And I remember sitting in the stands before I even got involved watching Jamie Fox race around Waikareka Park. So I'm not quite sure when he started. It must have been the early to mid-80s. But yeah, I seem to be involved forever, and I remember watching him as a spectator. So yeah, it's a lot of experience. I think sometimes those guys, they look a bit further down the track ahead of them, and they can sometimes see an accident happening ahead of them and back out of it, whereas these younger guys, sometimes they don't quite look as far ahead. They're looking to the checkered flag. But I'll tell you what, if it comes down to a last lap shootout, Brad Lane's capable of turning, I think, a faster lap than anybody else out here on a different line to what anybody else will run. So I think if we could get a shootout, get a green flag with only a couple of 3 laps to go, which is always possible, Brad Lane would be the one to be watching, I think.
Yeah, no, as you said, it's shaping up to be a great night, and we really appreciate you being here and giving us some of your expertise and insight into tonight. I hope you have a great night. Thanks very much for being here, and we'll see you a bit later on, but right now we'll just go to some ads from our sponsors. All right, I'm here with 18C. How are you doing tonight, mate? You are, I don't know why I'm asking you how you're doing tonight. I mean, you are leading. You are tied in first place on 25 points. How does it feel to be up there with the best of the best?
Well, I'm a bit more nervous tonight. I come in last night with no expectations, but now I've got a bit to hold up to. But we'll see how we go with our backgrids tonight, so we'll see.
That's right. We keep coming over here and shoving the camera in your face, but you bring it upon yourself, mate. You won 2 heats last night, so you're doing an excellent job. People are starting to realise who you are, and they're just wanting to see you race. How does it feel to get a bit of fanfare behind you?
Yeah, the fan base has definitely kicked up a lot this weekend. I've sold out all my stickers already and I had 250 of them, so we're on it, so yeah.
So it's a profitable business being in the winning business.
Oh, no, because they're free, but yeah, the t-shirt's going all right, yeah.
Sweet, mate. Oh, that's excellent. Well, I hope you go well tonight. You placed very well for an excellent finish, but we'll pop over now. I believe Aaron has another driver with him, so thanks very much for joining me. I'm sure we'll speak to you again later tonight, but we'll pop over to you, Aaron.
Okay, we have got the 67S of Bunter Pearce here, mate, former 2-time New Zealand champion. You're down here in Woodford, Glen, here to give it a crack. You had a pretty successful night last night. Now, I know, Bunter, we've talked quite a few times, but for the fans, from a setup point of view, you like to get in there and just go and give it a crack, but obviously it's a combination of experience and technique. So tell us how you're feeling about tonight.
To be fair, I'm a bit, nervous is not the word, but the track's a lot different than what it's been in the past. We've raced here a lot over the years and you sort of think you know it, but to be honest, we struggled a lot last night with setup. We got it right at the end, but now it's another night and another day of sun, and is it or isn't it going to be good or bad? So yeah, hey, you just got to get out there and give it a crack. Once you're out there, you've got what you got and you've got to drive it, whether it's good, bad or otherwise, so you've got to use the throttle or the brakes a bit more than you normally would. So yeah, hey, it'll be what it'll be.
Yep. So they tell me not only do you have the best team, you have the best looking team. So tell me a little bit about who helps you out with your car, mate.
I think they're just the biggest drinkers out of everyone, to be fair, but I've got 2 ex-drivers, so Merv Julian, he's an ex-1NZ way back in the 80s, and Mark Dixon, who's had his fair share of success too, so makes my job heaps easier having 2 guys that know what they're doing, so I'm pretty fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stratford, a big supporter of the modified class. You guys just absolutely love these things up there. Your fans love them up there. I'm sure you've got a lot of fans up home in Stratford watching out for you guys, hopefully watching this live stream.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for everyone. We've had a few phone calls today from home. So, yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have fans back there, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's always good to have that hometown support, mate. But look, it's getting close to the time where all of this is happening. Finals night. Bunter, all the best for tonight, and we might see you a little bit later on, maybe on the podium. What do you reckon?
Cheers, mate. I hope you're right, and I look forward to talking to you, buddy.
All right, I am here with the current 2NZ from McPhee Motorsport, Blair McPhee. Great to see you, and last night was a blinder. You are only 1 point off the lead on 24 points. How did you feel the last night went, and how are you feeling tonight?
Last night was pretty good for us, actually. Like, last time we were here, we didn't have a very good run at all. But, we're happy to be where we're sitting. I think there's 5 cars tied on the top lot of points, and it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, excellent. And what grids are you off tonight? Because I know the next 2 heats are going to play a big role in whether or not you get through to the feature final, or if you're going to have to go through the repecharges. So what grids are you on, and what's the strategy for those? Or don't you know yet?
No. I did all my back grids last night, so I've got grid 1 and 4 for tonight. So just got to make them count really, and just hopefully clock enough points to get us off the front 2 rows would be nice. But hey, it is what it is.
Sweet, man. Well, with those grids, you'll be cruising through to the finals. I don't want to jinx it though, so I won't say it. But your car's performing pretty well, and you couldn't do it without your sponsors. Obviously, you got some. Your dad is a big supporter of yours with C&M Transport, and you've also got Renee Hillier from Upper Hutt, who's one of the best real estate people in Wellington. But how big a player are the sponsors in helping you be here tonight?
Oh, mate, they're absolutely huge. Like, literally could not be racing without them. Just to have the backing, is outstanding, and never really had anyone backing us, so it's nice to have someone backing us. Well, all of these guys that are behind us putting their money, and even just their support into us is unreal. It just means so much to us.
It's excellent to see, and you definitely deserve it because you performed great last year and doing well again this year. So good luck for the rest of tonight with the next 2 heats, and look forward to seeing you in the final. Fingers crossed. But right now we're going to cross over to Aaron. I believe he has 3NZ Luke Brown.
Luke Brown, 3NZ. How are the nerves, mate? Ready to go?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, another year's come around, and ready to try and hopefully go a couple better. A little bit nervous, but once we get out there, we'll be all good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You guys have got the goods. You would have been back there getting ready for today. Car's all good, no damage last night, so so you're feeling pretty good about things.
Yeah, had a clean run last night, moved forward in all our races, cars in one piece, no damage or anything. So just a bit of a tickle up this morning, and give it a clean, get some new tyres on there, and we'll be pushing real hard today.
Sweet as. So obviously the track was it was in fairly good condition last night. I talked to a lot of the guys, not many tyres used, so not quite as a normal Woodford Glen track, I guess you would say. So a little bit more heat today, but a bit overcast. How are you guys feeling about the track conditions?
Yeah, definitely had quite a bit of drive last night for quite a while. There wasn't many big wheel classes here, so I thought that might be the case. It did get slick for our last heat, probably mid-race onwards, and we did struggle a little bit. So I think tonight it will dust up pretty early. It does look like there's a little bit of drive there, but I think that first race that goes out, by the end of that, it's going to start throwing dust, and I think these next 2 heats will be very important, because a lot of guys will probably not tighten it up too much, and others will probably go quite far, and I think that'll be the difference between starting maybe on the front 2 rows or maybe 3rd or 4th rows, so it's quite important, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and the points are quite level. So obviously you got the tried and true there, your mates in terms of Brad and Blair and some of the Bunter and guys like that. But this 18C Jacob Mitchell, this young fella that's coming in through, what's it like racing around new young drivers that you don't know what they're going to do? You got to keep an eye out for these ones, eh?
Yeah, like I said, the last 2 times we're down here, Jacob's, he's an awesome peddler, man. Like he's got a good car, he's got a good background, he's a smart driver, and he'll definitely be a dark horse. Like he can definitely pedal, and it's just awesome, like the way the class is going. Maybe 10 years ago you probably had a title where maybe 2 or 3 cars could win, and the rest are kind of fighting anywhere for maybe 2nd to 5th. But there's 15 cars here that could win tonight, and I don't think anyone bat an eyelid. And a lot of them, coming from the youth kind of side, likes of me, Brad, Blair, Jacob, all these young guys. It's pretty cool. Cool for the class, cool for the sport, and most of the boys are real clean as well. So it's just awesome racing in general.
Sweet. You're not going to underestimate the old guys, though, so she's all good, mate. So, look, we wish you all the best. I hope you have a really good night, and we'll be talking to you later, I'm sure.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm here with 54 GM Steve Thompson. Steve, not a great start to your New Zealand Championships last night. You didn't finish a couple times, I believe. Can you talk us through what happened?
No, so we had full intentions of doing really well, but we had a wheel centre snap in half, so that ended that, just about tipped it up. And then that damaged the diff on the way through, which for the second race broke a centre bolt, which then the diff ended up in the seat. So that was the second heat, and then the last heat, obviously the drive shaft had a vibration, so we had to pull out. But we had a big day today, bolting all the new stuff on. Thanks to the Edge, they had all the parts, so it worked out good.
Excellent. Well, your chances aren't over tonight. I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it through to the finals by the next two heats, but you've got those repcharges, which are your last-ditch effort. So I suppose it's tonight about getting as many points as you can and seeing, working out your car, making sure you can get in through potentially, if you do get in the repcharge, to make a good effort to get into the final.
Yeah, so what we'll work on is those two heats. We've got two rear draws today, so we'll work on that, try and pick off some cars, and then we'll do the repcharge. And have it set up for the repcharge to try and be in the top two, and then hang off the back for the feature in the 30. But that's hoping if this old girl holds together.
Well, I know that the skill is definitely there because you have been a New Zealand champion before, so I'm sure you'll pull something out of the bag today and put on a good show. So thanks very much for having a chat to us. Good luck for the rest of the night. I'm sure we'll have a chat to you again, but right now we're going to pop to some ads and then we'll see you out in the middle shortly with a few of the drivers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome along to Coke and Tools, Woodford, Glen. Yes, it's the second night of the Garage 16 Media New Zealand Modified Championship, and it's great to have you all along here, whether you're streaming live over the interweb thing somewhere in New Zealand or somewhere around the world, or if you're live here in the stadium with us all at Coke and Woodford, Glen. Down on the infield, Aaron and Vince have got Ivan with them, and they're going to be talking to the current 1, 2 and 3 NZ. Over to you guys.
Thanks very much for that. Yes, we've got 1, 2 and 3 NZ out here tonight in front of this amazing crowd at Coke and Woodford, Glen. I think it's going to be stunning, don't you, Aaron?
Yeah, man, look at this. Isn't this good, Ivan? What do you reckon? You guys must have the best fans in Speedway here. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we've got some pretty good die-hard fans, and they come out week in, week out, and they tell me the queue's out past the railway lines back onto the motorway, so it's a good thing we've got half an hour up our sleeve before we rock into it, and we'll do a couple of interviews.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. We're going to have a talk to the top three in the country, and yeah. So, but look, the action tonight is going to be absolutely electric. These wing pieces, so much fun. I hope the audience here they get to really, really enjoy this. So, look, to kick things off. We're going to have a bit of a chat to the current 3NZ Luke Brown. So, welcome, Luke. So. How you feeling? I know we just had a little bit of a chat, so the people on the live stream will know, but this is your audience here, so they'll tell us how you're feeling. You all ready for this?
Yeah, I'm really keen to get stuck in. Stayed out of trouble yesterday and, yeah, went forward from our grid position, so not overly happy with where I ended up with the car, but I know what to do to change it, and, yeah, we'll be pushing hard in the heats and, yeah, try to be at the pointy end come the 30 lapper.
Yeah, so you won the Canterbury Champs and the South Island Champs down here this year. You must love this place, mate. It's good. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it is seriously one awesome track. Really enjoyed coming here. Steve and the team, they're just awesome. They put on a great show. Really technical track. You've got the big sweeper, then you've got the tight corner. You got to think about it, and you really got to set up your car correctly. Otherwise, you go from being up the front to being out the back door. So, but like I said last time, you got to get everything right on the night. It's a combination. It's not just having a good car. You got to have setup. You got to have a bit of luck. You got to, track conditions play into it. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on. But yeah, we're just really happy to be here, and just keen to get stuck in.
Yeah, absolutely. The fans have certainly got an action-packed night in store. So one of the biggest modified championships for absolutely ages. What's it like being involved in a little bit of a revival of a class? Like, what's going on? It must be pretty exciting as a driver, right?
It is pretty awesome. Like, I grew up with the likes of, a lot of other drivers here that watched, the old dogs, Muzzle Gorge and Phil Game and those kind of guys go round and round, and now to kind of be in a similar position to they were is pretty cool. And, the likes of yourselves getting behind the modified class, it just goes to show, to have 30 plus cars at an NZ title, the promotion, the following, the fan base, it's pretty awesome. And I know on the driver's half, we just want to put on a good show for everyone, and I really think come the end of the 30 laps, the fans will love it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all the best tonight for you, Luke. I hope you have a good run, and I think we're going to bring the 2NZ now in to have a bit of a chat to Ivan.
Yeah, that's right, Aaron. 2NZ, Blair McPhee out of Wellington. Blair, you survived a wee bit of the carnage last night. The car's all good and ready for tonight?
Yeah, no, we managed to sort of stay out of all the incidents and stuff like that. Car's ready to go as best as it can be anyway, so it is what it is.
Now, the track would have caught a few people out last night. Some of them have made some trips down here before during the season. Luke's been down here. He's taken our Canterbury champs. He's taken our South Island champs. It's been a slick track. Last night there was plenty of drive in it.
Yeah, that definitely caught us out as well. We come down for the Canterbury champs and had a terrible run. Learned a lot from it, but then we come down here this weekend and we get given a driving track, expecting it to be slick. But hey, everyone's got a race on the same surface, but it makes for great racing.
How do you think of the format? Do you like this format of the heat system, how we go through to a one-race final, or are you still a wee bit in favour of the older format? There's pros and cons for both.
Yeah, exactly. There's pros and cons. Myself, probably a fan for the 3-heat final. Is probably just it's you have 3 good races in the winner shows at the end where you could have 2 bad races and then put 1 good race together and come out and do the job. Which it's each for each. But I think the old school way is pretty cool.
Now, you've got the current 2NZ on your car, and obviously you're going for one podium better tonight. Who's on the car that helps you? There's sponsors and that get you around the country.
All my sponsors be CNM Transport, Renee Huia, Viking Roofing, 4-Star Flooring, CMC Electrical, Stone Contracting, Powder Services, and I've probably forgot one there, but all of them, they're just outstanding. They mean a lot to us.
For sure. Now, a lot of people see us as competitors and race car drivers. What do you do outside of the sport? Like, this is Woodford Glen's last night for the season. As president, we'll go in and start planning for next year and off-season projects. What about yourself as a driver?
We'll start planning for next year already. But we got my daughter's running a mini stock as well, so that's sort of keeping us on our toes. We're sort of going to probably, this may be the last meeting for us for this year. We might squeeze one more in, but we'll sort of focus on the mini stock, and that's probably about it. My phone's going off.
No worries, probably somebody ringing you up, wishing you luck from Wellington, eh? We were supposed to get them in, fly them in by helicopter. We've done that in the past for our current 1, 2 and 3NZ. Unfortunately, there's a big scrub fire up in Broken River. It would have been nice to do it, but hey, we still get you out here, meet the public and stuff like that. And at the end of the night, they can come down. There'll be posters and stuff like that.
It's a bit of a shame. Would have been pretty cool, but hey, it is what it is. They got to do what they got to do. So looking forward to it.
All the best, Blair, and hope you have a good run tonight, and we'll see you out in the 30 lapper. It's all 1, 2, 3 North Island. How hard is this for a South Islander? All the best for tonight, mate, and we'll bring in the 1NZ of Brad Lane.
That's right, we have the current 1NZ Brad Lane. Tonight is the finals night. You're going to be wanting to repeat that 1NZ title. Just talk us through a bit of how you're feeling and how you've prepped for today.
Obviously, we just went through the car today after last night and make sure everything was tight and give it a good wash and a check over. But I'm feeling pretty good, really. You get out on the track and you do your best, and that's all that you can ask for, and your fans and your family and crew and stuff. So I go out there, do my best, and if it results in another win, well then, hey, we'll all be happy. But if not, I've done my best, and that's what you can ask for, really.
That's right, you've done excellently this season. Speaking of this season, how has it been to have that 1NZ on your car for the past season? It's been a first for you, a first for your family. Your family they've been in modifieds for a long time, so they're very proud. How has it been to have that 1NZ on your car for every meeting that you've gone to this season?
Well, just to tick it off the list for our family, like you say, is unbelievable. But I don't know. I just like going racing, really. So whether it's got a number 1 or a number 119 on it, we come out and enjoy ourselves, put a show on for the crowd. But obviously, this is the ultimate goal, and we've got there. So we'll just keep chugging away and trying our best.
Excellent, mate. And looking out at the crowd tonight, we've got a pretty full house, and it's going to get a bit more full as the racing comes by. What sort of effect does it have on your racing when there is a crowd out there to put a performance on?
Obviously, when you're going out before the race and you can see everybody and stuff and everybody waving and I try to do my bit and wave at the crowd and get them involved in it. But obviously, once the light goes green, you're never really looking out there and you're just trying to look ahead and make places and pass cars and keep moving forward. So it's always good to have a good crowd, and hopefully we put on a good show for them, not just me, but our whole field here, 30 cars or whatever it was. So if we can all put on a good show, then they're going to come back and support Woodford Glen, which is all we can ask for.
That's right, and this is the last title for the Modifieds this season, and as Ivan spoke about with 2NZ Blair McPhee, I assume that your off-season isn't a holiday. What happens over the next 6 months or so when you get ready for next season?
Obviously we just go through the car, strip it right down, go through the chassis, make sure there's no cracks and stuff and any silly business like that, and repair it if it needs it, and then just maintenance really. But the off-season's coming to me. The off-season, this sort of after our seasons are so long now that the off-seasons are real short, so you don't really have much time to do it. By the time you get on to doing the lawns and fixing the house up a bit, there's not much time left to work on the car. So usually we're always late and never make a practice, but we always try and stay on top of it and stuff, and we never really have gear failure, but you can only say that there's things that you can't see or spot and it'll break, so yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. And one thing you have to do in your off-season, obviously get in touch with all your sponsors again, and obviously give them a big thanks for giving you a huge help. So how much does it mean to have all the sponsors you have, and who are some of the sponsors that you would like to mention?
Yeah, obviously the sponsors allow us to do what we do here, and without them we wouldn't be here realistically. So obviously yourselves, Garage 16, Professional Door Services, Andy and Jane, they come down to every meeting we do here or all over the country, and from a sponsor's perspective, to see what we do is real awesome, and then to show them what we also try and do for them is key, and if you can get more sponsors like that on board, that it makes me happy to see how much they can see how much effort we put in for them and to get the car going and stuff, so between them, Machinery House, Raceworks, Clark Performance, I'm going to have to look at the car soon. It's coming to me.
You want to turn around?
Yeah, I might have. There you go, we've got Web Sheds, Garage 16, Vasey Engineering, Professional Door Service, Machinery House, Absolute Panel and Paint, Super Finishing, and Bel Air, Mitzi Wreckers, and Roby Door Closers. That's it.
Sweet, man. And if you missed any of those, you can check Brad out on Instagram and Facebook as well. He likes to show his guns off quite a bit, as you can see. But on behalf of everyone involved in Speedway, we want to thank you very much for how you presented yourself as 1NZ and all that you've brought to the class. You always put on a great show, and your racing is really maturing and being quite a spectacle. So we look forward to seeing how you do tonight. So all the best for tonight, the finals night for the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championships. And we'll throw it back upstairs.
We're good. Cheers, guys. Hope all the fans here have a good night. Awesome. Thank you.
Pole position in this race will be left vacant, although it would be kind of cool to have the vintage car out there. Anyway, because that was to be the 82C of Steve Sinclair. He's not there. Crump in the 63A will be on the outside as the pace setter. He will lead them away. Then we move to the next row with Bunter Pearce in the 67S with the 1NZ beside him. Third row will be the 13 of Evan Nicol, and there'll be a blank spot beside him. That was to be the 24C of Dan Ray. Gary Parker will be on row 4 with the outside of him, the 11C of Cassandra Massey. And the final row of this heat will be Bailey Patterson versus Stephen Thompson on his outside. This will be interesting. Bailey's had all day at Ruapuna racing Mini 7s, and so he's come here. Vastly different cars, one might add.
Vastly different surfaces to race on too, but...
But the brain's got to switch over. Of course, this is the group. We lost a couple of cars last night. Steve Sinclair had a big moment at turn 1 and shortened the chassis up somewhat. A little bit of work to be going in there, and I'd say probably a couple of bruises this morning. Probably feeling a little second-hand, if the truth be told.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be an interesting battle between Bunter Pearce and the 67 car and the 1NZ of Brad Lane. I would say they're likely to get past... Daniel Crump at some point in the first few laps, and then they're going to go at it hammer and tongs, aren't they?
Well, Crump's on the outside at the front, so I would expect that Bunter, with clear track in front, is just going to gas it. Lane is going to try and shoot that gap. If Crump comes down or moves across the track, that is what's going to be whether there's going to be a moment at turn 1. So Crump is, and to be fair to him, you think he probably would have gone and told the the drivers behind him what he's going to do. He's either going to stay out of their way or he's going to dive onto that pole line and race it. And that'll be the determining factor as to what happens between the 1NZ and the 67. There's, of course, for Mike... it's Cassandra. I was getting
Cassandra Massey in the 11. I mean, she's in a position where she could qualify for the final without having to go through the repechage.
Now, bearing in mind, one of the issues they have now, if you know you're not going to qualify, you need to get 15th spot or 17th spot, because that puts you on the front row for the repechage, which is actually not a bad thing because it gets you ahead in the game for the feature race.
True.
So if you do have to maximise points, Thompson's in that position. He had a shocker last night. If it could go wrong, it went wrong.
And he needs to make up places. So watch the 54 car for the back of the pack.
The dust has been put down. We are in the starter's hands. We're going to come off Enviro Waste. It is Daniel Crump leading us away. We have got the green, and Lane goes straight to the outside. Doesn't leave any room. Goes straight to the out to the wall, and he's driven around the outside of Crump. But Crump is coming back at him a little bit. Bunter's sitting back. We look further back through the pack. It's Evan Nicol and Cassandra Massey in the 21 car of Parker. Not really sure how to handle this. Thompson's gone to that low line out in front. The 1NZ. He has gone to the doctor. Bunter's gone to the outside of Crump, and he's going to follow that line, but Crump just moves up a little on him and shuts that door. So Crump is battling for points. Bunter goes to the outside. Crump apexes the corner, washes out wide. Bunter up the inside. There's not going to be any answer here because Bunter's not going to leave any room on that pole line for you. Crump just moves up the track. Just see how, once you get past that surface layer of mushiness, it just starts to dust now through 1 and 2. Bunter does the slide as we go into Enviro Waste. Lane is gone. Parker's spun. Is he going to get anyone in the mix? He hasn't. They will go yellow as we head down the back straight.
We will go yellow and stay yellow, I think, there. Yeah, goodness me. That was an interesting start, wasn't it, with Brad Lane, as you say, absolutely gassing it, going for it big time, and in the end, being able to start to build a bit of a lead.
To be fair to Crump, he left him no room on the outside, but somehow Brad Lane did the sort of Tony Cardwell thing. He found his way to get a full-size race car through a 2-inch gap.
Yeah.
And didn't put a mark on anything, never touched it. He just squeezed there, drove it in deeper. Bunter watched him, and Bunter just really couldn't do anything with the 63 car and hasn't been able to for the last couple of laps. I think Gary there just losing the back. How Bailey Patterson and Steve Thompson missed him. A little bit of a miracle there.
Yeah.
And as we go through, but what this has done is this has put Brad back with the racing pack. He had every opportunity to do the bolt, didn't he?
Absolutely. And just looking down the ELS there, it's telling us that Evan Nicol did a 15.16. I
don't believe that.
Struggling to believe that one.
No, I think we've had a hemorrhage. It also says he's in second place, which
we definitely know is not the case. So in fact, the ELS is definitely hemorrhaged there. We won't worry too much about that. We'll concentrate on what's happening on the track where they've all reformed and they're ready to go again, Jared.
Back in the starter's hands we go. Green is waved, and it is the 1NZ of Lane that leads us into one. Pierce to the outside. He's all over the back of Crump. Crump's just got an annoying line. Bunter can't pick a line on him. He can't go low and he can't go high. And the problem there is Thompson's making the moves from the back of the pack and he's coming forward. Crump just chops the nose off Bunter. Bunter's going to come up the inside. You be careful, you'll get the Taranaki side slap. As we go through, Bunter Pierce takes over, but Stephen Thompson and Bailey Patterson, they're making the moves around the outside of Evan Nicol. Out in front, Brad Lane toned it down. He's conserving the car now. Listen to it, he backs off early and just lets that car roll into the corner. Gets on the gas way later than you'd expect, and it is working for him. He is just gapping these cars at the moment, but he's on it early. He's rolling through the corners. He's not powering it in sideways. If you go further back and look at the likes of Bailey Patterson, that high on the gas all the way through. Thompson's on it as well. This is more akin to what the feature's going to look like. You're going to have to roll that thing under the brakes. Out in the front though, 1NZ of Lane, the Machinery House car, comes off Enviro Waste, blocks up another lap. He is on 7 laps completed on lap 8 now. Bunter to the outside, and he's just washing out. Crump's actually in with a chance here to take that spot back. Bunter's just struggling a little bit through the corners. He can't seem to get that car to settle down. And Crump has not let go of the back of the 67 car. Bailey Patterson.
Crump's got by far the smoother drive.
Yeah, Bunter's just, it's almost like he's fighting it. You go back, Thompson's got some pace, but just not enough to catch this front three. And Crump there through Enviro Waste just looks smoother. And I think this is where you're going to see the lower horsepower cars are having that advantage. They've come out thinking this was a real super drivey track, and it was for the street stocks. All of a sudden for the modifieds, the drive's been sprayed at the wall, and you can even hear it with Lane. He's backing off just past the end of the control tower as he enters turn 1. Normally he'd be on that gas almost to the pit gate. Bunter Pierce, he's doing what he can. He's definitely got the machinery underneath him. Crump within a couple of car lengths, or purely just a blink. The 1NZ clocks in another lap. He is on lap 12. Parker, he struggled all weekend, just hasn't had the go forward you would have thought from the 21H car. White flag is out for the 1NZ car. And Lane, very conservative compared to his usual driving style. Back to Pierce. Crump's just settled back a little. I think he's just decided to get off the charge, save the tyres. Got a lap in it. Thompson hasn't got enough track position to do anything about it as we come.
Big blow up there.
And I'd say that's Bailey Patterson's night over. The 1NZ takes the win. The 67S followed by Crump in the 63 and then Thompson. And well, that was a whole bunch of white. So white's normally water, Tony.
Yep. Big blow up there down the just out of turn 2 for Bailey Patterson. Just the car just all of a sudden erupted in a cloud of what we assume is steam, judging from the fact that it's kind of stopped now. Yeah, it's that didn't look good at all. And of course you run them as hard as you can, but that sort of thing can damage an engine very quickly. As we look out of all of that, so the ELS seemed to recover its composure, and but although the points were wrong, thanks for pointing that out, Barry. But Brad Lane definitely came away with the win. Quickest lap of 16.5 seconds on lap 2. For Brad Lane, it was all about the first lap, wasn't it? He just had to get to the front. And once he got to the front, as you said, he definitely changed his strategy, adapted to the changing track conditions. It was all about bringing the car home then.
The lanes, regardless of whether it's been Scott or Brad over the years, were one of the few drivers that would still be on the gas at the pit gate here. They drove their cars in.
Yeah,
and tonight
back the car in too.
You could hear him just past the end of the control tower here. He was lifting, just letting that car roll in. Now that will be against every instinct in his driver's repertoire. He will not like doing that. He's a guy that likes to drive the car, be spectacular. Unfortunately, it's the whole adage of, just like golf, drive for show, putt for dough.
Absolutely. And I think the other interesting thing we learnt there was watching the 67 car. As the Pits TV showing some fantastic replays there, as you can see Brad Lane streaking away into a lead already by the first turn. Bunter Pierce just couldn't, he took too long to get past the 63 to ever have a chance of attacking Lane, and in the end looked to be fighting that car quite a bit round the track, or at least, if not fighting it, at least he wasn't as comfortable in it as some of the other drivers were in terms of the way it was sitting, the way it was responding.
It did look a bit awkward up high. It looks like he was fighting it. It looks like the car didn't have the setup. I would pick him versus Crump that he's got way more horsepower than the Crump car.
Yes.
Without knowing the inner details. And I think that horsepower was just creating a wheel spin problem for him, so he had to start feathering the throttle and get backing right out of it. As I believe Aaron is down in our pit chute.
Bit of a shout out, just like all of these drivers, they have sponsors and all of that sort of stuff. Here at Garage 16, we also have the people that help us. So we've got John and Novak Nicole. They do an awesome job for Garage 16. Jono, you do a bit of filming, they help us with merchandise, taking out water, mate. How do you enjoy your Speedway experience?
Oh, mate, I love this stuff, I just love the smell of it, I love the experience, and I love the atmosphere, There's nothing like it, really. I can go to a country fair, and it's like, I come here, and it's like, yeah.
Awesome, mate. And what about you, Novak? You love the Speedway. Who's your favourite driver?
Luke.
Oh, he likes Luke. Well, just a big thank you to these guys. Without these guys, we couldn't do what we do. So a huge thank you to you, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Awesome, guys. This is awesome.
Magic, back up to the commentators.
Cheers, Aaron. As we head out for Heat 11 of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs, the grids will be on the front row. Hayden Corbett, the 22 car. To the outside of him, Mike Gurley. Now, he's going to want to bank some points tonight.
He really needs to.
Jason Scott in the 88T car. We saw that thing having real issues with the brakes last night. He'll be in the second row, but to the outside of him will be Barry Hunter in the 53H. John Jackson, 71S with the 3NZ Luke Brown. And then we move to the next row with Jamie Foxx, the 11A, with Nathan Astle to the outside. Nathan having a blinder in one race there. Well, I shouldn't say surprise, it's not fair to Jacob, but the 18C car, Jacob Mitchell, with Ian White beside him off the back. Mitchell really was the surprise package last night. He caught a lot of people napping, and that car was dialed in.
Absolutely, and I think whilst we would expect under normal circumstances Mike Goulet off the front row of the grid to run away with this heat, we didn't really see the normal Mike Goulet last night, and I'm not sure if that rebuilt car has quite got what it had earlier in the season.
Well, there's a couple of things. So for those of you that aren't aware, Mike had a big moment here at the last time Modifieds ran, which was a fortnight ago, and he ended up flipping it and barrel rolling it down the front straight here, and ended up basically right in the middle of the Coke and signage on the castle in the middle. And he didn't seem affected on the night, and Mike is a pretty mellow guy outside of racing. He does get emotional, but he's not a ranter and raver. And do you come back from an incident like that
fully as you were in the previous weeks? Yeah,
do you need a couple of meetings or something?
It's a good question. The other one, of course, to keep an eye on is Luke Brown. As Barry pointed out, in that previous race, the one in Z of Brad Lane made up 3 points effectively on his grid start, which is very good for him in terms of wanting to get near the front. Luke Brown equally needs to make up quite a number of places as well. So look for Luke Brown to be moving up from his grid 6 position. He'll want to make up at least 3 places, get ahead of the 2 cars in front of him, and jink it out with the 22 or the 4 by the end of the race.
Part of the problem too, Tony, is that we actually have 2 races going on. We have those that are qualifying to try to be in the top 2 or 3 rows of the final, and those now that are trying to salvage
just to qualify,
to salvage something at that back end, to either be in row 7 or 8, or to be on the front row of the repechage. It's that, and so you have battles within battles, and that is where we could have some conflict as the night goes on.
The pairing of Astle in the 10 and Jamie Foxx in the 11 will be an interesting one to watch too. All right, Brian's got the green ready. The chalk dust is on turn 1. And turn 4 really, and we're away. And Mike Goulet, not surprisingly, gasses it and gets a little bit of a jump on the 22 of Corbett. Jason Scott having a good start there as well, but Luke Brown's up into 4th place now. He's got the 71 on his tail. Everyone's got down the back straight. Okay, always a little bit of contact there as Astle goes to the back of the 53 of Hunter. But coming round Enviro Waste and out through turn 1 and 2, we've got more contact down the front straight there. The 32 of White, was that with the 10 of Astle? I think it was. Yep. Out front, Mike Goulet's already opened up about 6 or 7 car lengths, and the 3NZ of Luke Brown has moved into 2nd place. Watch that car go. The 22 of Corbett, he's not hanging around, but he's back in 3rd place now, holding off the 88 of Scott. Then we go back to the 71 machine that's having a good battle with the 11 of Jamie Foxx, and of course the last night's top performer, you might say, the 18 of Jacob Mitchell in this heat as well. That's a real quality group you've got battling out for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place there in the middle of this pack. Mike Goulet, he seems to have recovered the form of earlier in the season. He's gone out front. Luke Brown, well, we always know he's fast. He's going to solid 2nd place. Corbett for the moment is holding on to 3rd, but that battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th behind him between Jamie Foxx, Jason Scott, Jacko and the Jacob Mitchell car, that's a really interesting one to watch. They're taking different lines, they're looking for mistakes, they're looking for grip on the track all the time, racing each other. Mitchell up the inside of Fox there. Was there a little bit of contact on the 71? Possibly not, he may have backed out of it. Jacko just holding off Mitchell at the moment. Mitchell's got the inside line if he's brave enough to commit to it. He brakes heavily though. Out front, Scott possibly holding these guys up, but he's got the track position. They've got to go round him, and he's making it hard for them. Mitchell's the one making the moves at the moment. He's putting distance between himself, Jacko and Fox, and now the 10 of Astle coming to join this battle as well. I've even forgotten what's happening out front of this race. Oh, that's right, Mike Goulet down the back straight and into Enviro Waste turn with Luke Brown very gradually catching him. But Goulet now half a lap ahead of the 4th placed car, which is Jacob Mitchell in the 18C. He's got ahead of Scott, and he's going to chase down the 22 of Corbett. Scott's leading the 71 of Jackson and the 11 of Fox. Astle can't really make any impact on Fox and Jackson. They're jinking it out down the back straight. Oh, the suggestion of contact there as they went past the Value Cars grandstand. They both backed out of it. It's cost them a little bit of track time. It's given the 88T machine a bit more breathing space. It's given Nathan Astle the hope of making a pass, but he hasn't quite got what it takes, I think. And Mike Goulet coming around onto the back of the rearmost car. That's the 32 of Ian White. Did Jason Scott clip the wall there coming out of turn 4? It looked like he might have done. Fox has got through on Jackson. And here comes Mitchell. We're in the white zone now as Goulet's streaking round the back straight. Can Mitchell put a pass on the 22 to make another point? I think he's going to do it. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to go very, very deep. Goulet's going to take the win. He gets that easily enough. Mitchell goes past on the back straight. Second place now, the 3NZ of Luke Brown. And Mitchell gets bunted by the 22 of Hayden Corbett, but he takes third place. That was an exciting race.
That was. Okay, so we can officially say the track has now exited the stadium. It is dusted.
Indeed.
And welcome race fans to what 27 degrees for 6 hours, 6 or 8 hours today does to Clay. But out of all of that, Mike Gurley taking away the race win, he needed to do that. There was Luke Brown capitalising it being near the front. He did what he needed. The one who made them, and I don't mean to be condescending to some of the drivers, the one who made them look silly, Jacob Mitchell.
Absolutely.
He's come
started off the back row of the grid alongside the 32 GM car.
Well, he just minced a couple of former 1NZs and made them look stationary. So the 18-year-old out there
is doing the business.
Did the business, and he absolutely came through. And that would really, really throw a spanner in the works because he's picked up. He came off the back there, and he's picked up the best part of 6 places as we watch the modifieds go back in. Interesting to see the contact there, and I believe Vince, you're down there in the pits.
1NZ, Brad Lane, you won that first heat. Good to see you're on form again tonight. How did it feel out there?
Yeah, obviously the track would have caught a few people out in our race, and obviously this race just been out. Before the meeting, obviously it looked quite good and sticky. But then you go there, blow the top off in a couple of laps, and then it was pretty hard work, so we just had to slow the pace up a bit and just make sure that we made it to the finish in the position that we were in.
Yeah, no, I thought I saw you preserving the car there, so I thought that might be the case. But you were on 23 points, now you're on 33 points, so definitely well in front. What's it going to be like in this next heat? You're going to hold back? You're going to go for the front row in the feature final? What happens now?
Yeah, well, obviously just watching that last race, old young Jacob Mitchell's done another stellar job of passing cars, so we're off grid 3, so we're just going to try and make our way to the front really to, try and get a front row grid for the feature. So and now it's probably a good time to start pushing because obviously you're going to have to do that tonight in the 30 laps, so we'll sort of see what the car's got and then, make a few changes and stuff. We had a bent right rear rim after last night, which we didn't know until that first race when we had a big vibration, so another thing why we took it a little bit easy, but yeah, so we'll see how we go when we get out there. Obviously we're going to tighten the car up a bit now and then go flat out hopefully.
Yeah, sweet man. And how was the track feeling out there? Is it different to last night?
Yeah, way different, obviously. As you can see, probably even on the live stream, that there's some black lines getting out there, and that's not good for us, really. We like a nice, dark sort of coloured dirt, so you try and stay out of those, or you try and make the car work in those lines. So, we'll make a few changes and see how the car goes.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the rest of the night, Brad, and I'll throw it back up to you guys in the commentators box.
Cheers, Vince. As our stock cars come out for their first race of the night, this race brought to us courtesy of Kiwi Auto Spares on the front row, Harley Rob in the 991, the David Ford car, brand new Rackham car. It did its about its 4th meeting now. It did a first race. He showed up and raced here at Coke and Woodford Glen. He won.
Yeah, it's a pretty good package, isn't it?
It's not a bad bit of kit. Also, as we look further back through the pack, the 95 car, great to see Alex Rondell back out in his car. He's had Steve Rondell in the car, so Dad's back in the car. Of course, Alex taking the best part of the season off. The 7 car, front of that doesn't look like a tank anymore.
No, it changed a wee bit.
Looks all of a sudden like it might be a lamp car by some random chance. As we look through, there's a few little driver changes tonight out there. We're going to try and keep up with the evening.
All right, I'm in the pit chute. We're just about to have the 3rd heat of the evening, and we have some excellent people in the front row. We have 2NZ Blair McPhee,
He's currently 1 point off the lead, so he is off, I think it looks like first or second grid. So this is going to be an excellent race for him. We also have 49C Kevin Ban from the front as well. Now, he didn't have a great night last night, only on 9 points, so he's going to be wanting to make up for that or get ready for those repper charges. And further down, we have 21S Newton Gorge from Stratford. He is currently tied in first place on 25 points, so that's going to be another one to watch for. Who else we got down there? We've got 5GM Brandon Parkinson. He's going to be one to watch on this one. They're all just getting ready to go out, and it's going to be an excellent race. We've got 69C Andrew Naven is sitting here in the orange car as well. He's the one that was up late last night helping to fix everyone's car along with 88T Scott there. So I'm going to throw it over to Aaron now. He's got an interview all lined up. So Aaron, over to you.
Jacob Mitchell, third place in that last race, man. That was 4 slide jobs in 1 race. That was awesome. How's it feeling?
The car's good at the moment. We're a bit more slick than what I was expecting, to be honest. But yeah, no, it was cool. Made up a few passes from the back, so hopefully it helps our points out lots, and we'll be up there for feature.
Awesome. As we said earlier on in the night, the 18C Jacob Mitchell, he is a serious contender for this title. Back to the guys up at the commentary box.
And we're out with Heat 12 of the New Zealand Modified Champs, courtesy of Garage 16 here at Coken or Woodford Glen. And the front row will consist of Blair McPhee, the 2NZ, to the outside of him, Kevin Bannon, the 49, the Rocket Man, 99C of Ralph Godwin, will have on the outside of him the 69 of Andrew Naven. Then we move back to the third row of Haig, who had a shocker last night, blew the torque tube, with Newton Gorge on the outside of him and the 21S. Gary Lennon in the 9C, to the outside of him the 5 of Parkinson. And the final row will have Jason Cale in the 12S and Atama Holland, who had a great performance in his final race last night.
He did, he really got on top of it, didn't he? Yeah, look, the brains of the commentary outfit tonight are Barry Brown in the back of the booth there. He doesn't say much, but boy, does he scribble on pieces of paper like a madman. Just pointing out how Jacob Mitchell's very much vaulting himself into contention for a top placing here to get near the front of that final.
Yeah, he certainly is.
He's making up places, which is earning him points. Now, here's the interesting thing. Blair McPhee's off the front. This is his front grid race, where he just needs to bring this home. He can do no more than start in first and finish in first. And really, it's all downside potential. If things go wrong, he'll slide down the field. But if he brings it home, he will get points based on his start position maximum points. However, Brad Lane has caught up 3 places, made up 3 places in his heat. So he's getting closer to McPhee, and Jacob Mitchell's getting closer to McPhee as well. So the pressure's on Blair McPhee here.
This is one of the issues with this format. If you haven't got your head in the space of how it works, you can often, after that first night, think you're in a way better spot or a way worse spot than you actually are.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand how this is working. Of course, a couple of these drivers had a bit of a shocker last night. 99 Ralph Godwin taken out in 1 heat. Absolute innocent victim. He was going to lead them into the corner and got absolutely cleaned out in the back end. Andrew Naven, interesting one. Of course, he called for 3 minutes.
Yeah, did we find out what happened there with the helmet?
Yes, he undid his helmet so he could look down to see what he was doing. And of course, once you take your helmet off, you're disqualified. And you've got to be race ready when you come out the pit gate.
Okay.
So that eliminated his 3 minutes. Haig, I believe, nuked the torque tube in the car, which for those of you who don't know is basically the safety the tube down the middle underneath, used as a lift arm, if you will. We're in the starter's hands. Ban is our pace setter. He will have McPhee on the inside. We're in the starter's hands. Brian's got the flag, drops the flag. We are racing, and it's fairly even in the front row, but McPhee just sets the 2NZ in there. He's got good track position. He's going to pull away here, and it's worked nicely. He's kept it clean. This is all he needs to do. He doesn't need to burn tyres out, doesn't need to over-rev the car. The Rocket Man up the inside in the 99. Right, the spitroast.com car sets through into the second place spot. He'll want to just move forward on the HPE 49. Newton Gorge. Seen what Ralph Godwin did, but Gorge's car just seems a little bit tight through 3 and 4. As Naven up the inside on him, or is he? Naven puts the car very sideways at 1. Newt just gets a little bit of a move forward. The 9 of Lennon, gets very close to Parky. Parky backs out of it. Lennon's making some forward movement out front. McPhee clocks down another lap. Back to Godwin. The 2 Lovelady chassis just opening up over Kevin Ban as the 21 car looks to the outside. The battle is all around that poor 49 machine. The horsepower heads car of Kevin Ban. Newt's to the outside. Gary Lennon looks up the inside of Naven. He does the slide through, gets through under brakes. In fact, I thought Gary was going to do the big slide job, but he got on the brakes a lot earlier than I thought. And Parky's looking to do the same. Gorge out high and wide through round 3 and 4, through Envirowaste, out in front the CNM car, 2NZ, just opening up his lead over 99 of Godwin. The battle is for third. Ban goes into Envirowaste. The 21 car of Gorge very shortly, in fact I'd say within this lap, he's going to be on the threat of Lennon. Lennon sticks the nose up the inside of the 21 car into 1.
Lennon is a man on a mission at the moment.
Lennon's got to maximise these points. Newt is sort of stuck. He can't go around the outside of Ban on Envirowaste, and this is where the 9 car pops up the inside. And it's this easy. He's absolutely exposed here. Smoke billowing out of the back of the 59 car of Haig. Hopefully he'll be looking at his gauges. It is a battle for third. Ban's got the position. Everyone behind him is just chattering on that nerve bar.
There, Gary Lennon gets through. He'll be able to go outside now.
He is on the outside and he's opened the door a little bit for Newt. Smoke still billowing out of the back of the 59 car. Ban has got where he knows where he needs to race and he's being consistent about it. He's in the same spot as Lennon's decided, right, we're going to the outside. We know he likes to go with the brave and the wild men play. Don't think there's a lot of drive up there, but he'll also want to not open the door for the 21 of Newton Gorge. McPhee's gone. He'll be back in the pits getting chips and
absolutely.
Back to Godwin as Lennon takes that third spot. He hasn't got it fully, but Ban just goes in a bit hard at 1, just scrubs off some speed. Lennon's now got it. White flag is out for McPhee. As we look at Godwin, Lennon, the track has slicked big time. This will catch a lot of guys out. The smoke stopped coming off the 59 car as the 5GM car of Parky's crept up the inside of Newton Gorge. We look out of Envirowaste. The checker is out for McPhee. He will take the race win, followed by Ralph Godwin. Gary Lennon will come home for third, rolls it across the start-finish line. Back to Kevin Ban, Brandon Parkinson, Newton Gorge, Haig. Somehow out of all of that brings the car home, and it's still moving.
So Blair McPhee did what he had to do, did what we expected he would do, and did what form and pedigree suggested he should do, which is to win that race and win it handsomely by 3.3 seconds ahead of Ralph Godwin. Godwin came through really strongly, and he'll be pleased with that. Good points there for him. Gary Lennon, absolutely the man on the mission. Kevin Ban did everything he could. I think in the end Newton Gorge had the faster car, but he couldn't get round Kevin Ban, and in the end paid the price for it as Parkinson got through on him. So that's quite interesting. So Barry's very quick on these points. My God, who needs a computer when we've got Barry Brown in the commentary box? So at the moment, the way he sees it, it's a three-way tie at the top. Is that what the points tell you on the front of your screen there?
Yes,
that
it does. It says McPhee, Brown, Pearce.
And Pearce are tied on 34 points. And then we go one back to Mitchell and the 1NZ of Brad Lane on 33, and Goulet and the 21S car on 32. So yeah, it's really tight at the top. One more round of races to go in the heats for the Garage 16 Media New Zealand Modified Championship. Once that round is completed, the top 16 automatically go through to the final, and the rest go into the repechage, of which 4 cars will go through to make a 20-car final.
It's going to be very, very hard how you set your car for this 30-lap final. When the track is gone, it's slicked. It's gone very, very slick. It is smooth, it is fast. However, once you have to start looking at a setup for a 30-lap race, which is only going to get slicker and slicker, it's going to prove to be a real challenge. Now, one grade that isn't going to complain about a smooth, slick track is our Superstocks coming out right now, Ivan.
Yeah, and it's good to see a good field of Christchurch registered cars.
All right, guys, so all the drivers have had 3 heats tonight so far. The one heat tonight so far, so they've got 1 each left, and the points are looking amazing. So, in the first place, we have Blair McPhee, 2NZ. We have 3NZ, Luke Brown. and Bunter Pierce, 67S, they're all on 34 points. Now, Blair is starting from grid 4, so he's going to have an excellent chance at starting off the front of the grid for the feature final. And Luke as well, he's starting from grid number 5, so he's going to have a decent chance of getting towards the front of the feature final. Now, Bunter, he's starting off grid 8, so he's got a bit of work to do to make sure that he gets himself up a decent position, but I think Bunter might be pretty safe unless he has a catastrophe in the next race. Now, tied after that, only 1 point behind the lead, Jacob Mitchell, a standout performance so far from this 18-year-old, 18C, only second season in a modified, only 1 point off the lead, and he's starting on grid 5. So he has a really good chance of getting up there and potentially getting on the podium. And Brad Lane, the 1NZ, is tied up with Jacob Mitchell, just 1 point behind the lead, and he's starting from grid 3. So he's going to be able to, you'd imagine, hopefully get into first place for his sake, and he'll be off a good position for the feature final. So it's shaping up to be a great feature final. Don't go away. We've got some rapid charges after these next 3 heats. Do you want to add anything, Aaron? Far out. Okay. All right, let's go watch some racing.
Pretty important last round of heats for the New Zealand Modified Championship, courtesy of Garage 16 Media. And there's a lot of drivers who need to make things happen in this set of races, Jared.
And just for those of you watching the stream at home, you'll be clear that clearly hot dogs are too cheap here at Coke and Woodford Glen. By the way, that one was just disregarded and treated.
Disappearing. Now let's talk about that 10 car, the little the little blue modified that's going around ahead of the main pack there. That was the winner of the first ever New Zealand Modified Championship, held in the 77-78 season at Paradise Valley in Rotorua. And it was built and raced by Ross Baker. It's now owned by Miles Forsey, and he's restored it to the same condition it was in when it won that New Zealand title. So it's absolutely fantastic to have that very important piece of modified history here at Woodford Glen for this particular title.
And to be fair, that's when they were real race cars, the modified sportsmen.
Yeah.
In the days. As we watch the head around the Heat 13, the front row is going to have Jason Scott there by himself because the 82C, this was one of the starts he needed. Steve Sinclair would have been on the outside, but he's not. Then we move back to Brandon. Oh, sorry, the 5C. Bailey Patterson. Bailey Patterson's getting the 5GM confused here for a second. And the Sandra Massey, 11C to the outside. Third row will have the 3NZ Luke Brown with Nathan Astle in the 10C to the outside. Ian White, 32 GM, will be there in the fourth row with Bunter Pierce in the 67S. The final grid will consist of the 54 GM of Thompson and Jacko on the back in the 71S. This is going to be interesting because there are some serious points getters at the back half of this field.
Yeah.
And this is where it becomes important not to wreck your gear.
Absolutely, and look, this is exactly what you were talking about earlier, Jared. You've got 2 races here. You've got the guys who are going to qualify, and it's just a question of where, and the guys who are really struggling to qualify and need a good performance to cement that. So you've got Thompson off the back, and he's had a mare of a night last night. He really needs good points from this race. He's got to make passes. He's got to make up places. And yet you've got Luke Brown there sitting in the middle. He's well placed on points, doesn't need to worry about not qualifying, but passing 1 or 2 cars could make the difference between being on the front row or being back on the 6th or 7th row of this grid. That's how tight it is at the top. So Luke Brown's got to think, car preservation or do I pass? Whereas Tomo, he's just got to go for it.
Now, for those of you at home on the stream, you're watching the drone footage of the track at the moment, and it highlights how open and flowing turns 1 and 2 are. And as we move down the back straight past our grandstand, the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand, we move down to EnviroWaste. You see how much tighter the Kaiapoi end of the track is. That is, whilst the modifieds themselves can carry the momentum through, where they cross that white line is actually the widest part of the track. But it's a head spin. It's really obvious when you're above it. When you're on the track, all you see is wall coming at you. Yeah. So it is a big headspace game. But of course, 1 and 2, the track's changed from what it was last night. This is going to be an interesting race, Tony. It's half a lap and we're going to be into this.
Absolutely. So keep your eye on the back there. The 71 and 54 off the back. They're bound to make some progress through. Bunter Pierce in the middle there with the 67. The 3 of Luke Brown in the middle of the pack too. He's going to want to get to the front early on. Brian's got the green. We're about to get a race start. We're into the final round of heats for the New Zealand Modified Championship, and away we go. Jason Scott off the front pilots that 88T car to the first place at the moment. Bailey Patterson in the 5, holding off the 3 of Luke Brown. We've got some contact further back. 32 and 11 have come together and come to a halt on the back straight. That'll be yellow.
To be honest, on that... Jason Scott just got a hongy on the rear Nerf bar from the 5 car. It was a bit of a shocking start. Jason Scott there was on the front row. Bailey Patterson was right behind him. They were together, but Jason moved a car width up, and it basically looked like Bailey had already ducked to the inside. He hadn't. It was just the car in front moved. As we're going to actually get everybody re-gridded, and I was half expecting a yellow light anyway. But out of all of that, we got Cassandra in the 11 car, just gets climbed into by Ian White in the 32. Bunter moves the outside, and Astor was on further out. That could have turned into something a whole lot worse, and Jacko just saw the gap down below.
Yeah, Bunter and Astor may have actually touched there as they were trying to avoid what was happening in front of them, but they've got away with it. They backed out, they got away with it.
To be fair, that start did work well for Luke Brown, though. He did benefit from that as we go back under starters' orders.
So we'll have another go, see if we can get it right this time round. So Jason Scott, we know he's going to probably streak away from the second row, but it's what happens behind him that's significant. There we go, we're green, we're racing, Jason Scott's away. Bailey Patterson chasing him in. A little bit more careful and cautious, I think, all of them there. Massey and the 3NZ of Luke as well. Luke Brown, he's alongside the 5, trying to make the pass up the inside as we go into Enviroways turn. Bailey Patterson gives him plenty of room. He's got the power. He takes over second place. And thanks, I didn't see that. You're quite right. The 11 car and 10 car have had a tangle.
Yeah, it started in front of the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. Astle had an awesome run down the back straight. Cassandra moved up on the track, but is significantly slower than the 10 car. He nerfed her going down the back straight. She unsettled. They went to the corner as we watched the replay, and Astle just ran straight into the back of Cassandra as she was slightly crossed up.
So these are two drivers who...
There's the first contact there, which unsettles the 11 car as we watch the replay courtesy of the pits. But the person who was lucky to get away with it was actually Jacko.
71, yeah, it was.
He got clipped on the way through, but look, if you're going to sideswipe a gorge car, you better have a strong car.
So the 10 and 11 cars are two of the cars that are on the cusp of making the final of their own right without having to go through the repechage, but a poor performance in this heat would scupper that, and they would have to go into the repechage.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, because if they are locked together, they can't break apart, and we've got to give them some assistance. What happens? And I guess the other part is, who's to blame for this? We know that there was the contact down the back straight. We know that Cassandra got out of shape going into the corner, and Astle just ran straight through. As we watch the drone footage of the track, the drone there sitting squarely above the our super tractor on the infield. And Tony waving to it. I did notice that Jason from the Pits TV was holding onto it in the pits, and I thought, if you love something, set it free, let it go, it must fly.
Perhaps he was hoping it would lift him up above the track. And
it will need a much bigger drone than that, to be honest, mate. Even a helicopter with the water bucket might struggle.
Yeah. God, wouldn't you love to see a water bucket on, just dump its thing on? No, never mind, we won't go there.
Right.
Yeah,
we just had Bill Clarkson Jr. as the referee for tonight, and he's just been in the back of the commentary box here. And what has he told us, Tony?
As he does from time to time, 10 the prime cause and will be sent to the back. So basically the referee has to make a determination when the lights go on who the prime cause of the incident is. If it can't be determined, it's a racing incident and everyone goes back to the same grid positions as they had before. But if they can determine who the prime cause of the incident is, that driver has to go to the back of the field. And so that's what's been decided by Bill Clarkson Jr., the Speedway New Zealand referee here, who's in charge of this meeting.
To be fair to Cassandra, the Morse code she got down the back straight was enough to unsettle her.
Yeah.
And it did. I don't know if Nathan's going to quite see it that way.
Yeah. The question will be, can he rejoin? He's fired the car up. Looks as though the car's unscathed. Cassandra Massey has joined back on the track.
Now, the other part of that too is we go to a restart, not a rerun.
Yeah, so it'll be Indian file.
And that works nicely for the 3NZ of Luke Brown.
Or will it? No, they are gridding up side by side, so it is a rerun.
guess that's one of the beautiful things now about having one-way communication with referees.
Or is it? Are they just trying to get the order sorted out?
Well, Brown's left enough space. If Patterson wants to move through, Thompson and White have they've gridded up, as is Jacko and Bunter. There we go.
Well, except the 11 car was on the second row of the grid and is no longer, so it's...
yeah, she's making the move now.
She's realised, obviously been told in the earpiece, you've got to be up on the second row of the grid. We're rerunning this race.
I must admit, I do think it would be a great policy if we could have two-way radios with the drivers.
Yeah, some kind of language filter in between.
Oh, we'd understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't think we could ever use it live on a commentary, probably. But
no,
I can see Jason, shaking his head down in the van there. No, I'm not having live driver.
No, it wouldn't be anything worse than what he or his directors tell us.
Oh, true. All right, so back down the back straight. The flags are in, the lights are out. We should get going again this time. All cars are still mobile. Let's have another go at starting this race, getting this final round of heats underway. Jason Scott leads away. Bailey Patterson, the 3NZ of Luke Brown there, already up to second place. Bunter Pearce not wasting any time on that restart. He's into third now, and a little bit more carefully, the 10 of Nathan Astle gets past the 11 of Cassandra Massey at the back of the field. So a lap down for the 88 car, and he's under a lot of pressure. The Taranaki Tornado, Richard Bunter Pearce there, nipping at the heels of the 3NZ. 3NZ probably got a slight power advantage on the 88 car, but unable to use it at the moment as Jason Scott's using every trick in the book to maintain his first place. Luke goes high, he ducks down low. Scott's got the line covered. Unless Luke's got fantastic traction out of two, he does actually get pretty good traction, but not enough to get past on the back straight. This is a good battle for the lead here. Luke Brown just sitting back slightly. He's going to wait and see just what the 88 car does. Meantime, Ian White's found an extra turn of speed and's putting a bit of pressure on the 67 car, who's falling back into the grips of White and the 71 of Jacko. Bunter Pearce definitely dropped off the pace there after that first couple of hectic laps. So out front, Scott opens the door for the 3NZ car on the inside. Scott's got the slingshot off too, but 3's got the power and he's going to get his nose in front going into Enviro Waste. I don't think Jason Scott can do this round the outside of Enviro Waste. He can't. He has to yield. So Luke Brown gets to the lead and is going to build a lead, I think you'll find. Second place at the moment, the 88T of Jason Scott. He's got quite a few car lengths over the 67 of Richard Pearce. Then we go back to the 32 of Ian White, who's holding off Jacko in the 71 machine. The 54 of Tomo under pressure from the 10 of Nathan Astle, who... We've gone yellow. I was going to say something wrong with the 10 machine, but that was just because he was backing off because the lights went yellow.
Something has to be on the track, surely. Oh, they're pointing to something over by the pit gate. Oh, yeah, you can see something on the track here. Nothing like something large in metal or small in metal. It's a screwdriver. It is a screwdriver.
So someone, a mechanic who was tuning up the track, left one of the screwdrivers on the track.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If you work pit gate, you have a full collection of quarter-inch ratchets.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have ratchet belts leave the quarter-inch ratchet in, and our pit gate staff collect them as the season goes on. You have a full toolbox if only it came with the sockets.
Oh, there you go.
But good spotting actually by the team running the race.
So if you ever thought that the people who lay the track here were screwing with you, now you know that they really were.
Yes, well, we'll leave it at that one. But obviously someone's either used it as a dipstick or...
You allowed to say that word on the live stream?
A dipstick? Yeah, well, they're checking the fuel.
Yep.
No.
Brilliant.
I've got much better names for you, Tony. Don't worry, we'll get there. Or they've been doing up Zeus fasteners.
Right.
Bearing in mind that the
lucky old Zeus, eh?
Bearing in mind that the 88 car actually has a door on it.
So the 5 car, Bailey Patterson, pulls to the infield, remembering he had issues at the end of the previous round where he's not going to take any further part in this race. We're back green and running again. A little bit of loose bodywork on the 88 car. I wonder if that's going to last to the end of the race. But the 3NZ is comfortable enough in the lead, pulling away from Jason Scott, who in turn is pulling away a little bit from the 67. And those top three already spread out a little bit round the track. Good battle for fourth. Ian White holding off for now, the 71 of Jacko. The 54 of Steve Thompson closing on the back of them, with the 10 of Nathan Astle really putting the hammer down and trying to get the best out of that car. At the back of the field, it's Cassandra Massey in the 11. Astle goes in very hot into turn 3, gets very snaky and has to back out of the attempted pass. Out front, Brown's just cruising. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to bring that car home in first place. Nothing heroic, nothing spectacular. Let's just read the track, find the grip. He's keeping it down low. Scott's pushing his car much wider on the track, as is the 67 of Bunter Pierce. The very different contrasting lines between Luke Brown and the two guys chasing him down. But honestly, I don't think Scott or Pierce are able to close on Luke Brown. Brown has got the setup for that tighter part of the track, and he's making it work for him. We have a quick look at the ELS. The gap 2.4 seconds between Brown and Scott. Another 1.6 back to Pierce.
Visually, it looks a lot more, to be fair, Tony.
It does, doesn't it? And really, those first three have cleared out. 32, Ian White has held off the 71 of John Jackson, and he's falling back a little bit. Thompson is still battling with the 10 of Astle. Astle trying to find a way past the former 1NZ, just can't do it. And in fact, those two are holding each other up so much that Cassandra Massey at the back of the field is catching them. We're in the white zone now, just one to go for Luke Brown. Goes through one, comes out of two. That car looks very smooth, very secure. He looks like a man who's totally in charge of the machine, totally in charge of his emotions as he comes out of turn 4 to get the checkered flag. That's a win for Luke Brown. A little bit of a pause. We go back to the second place, Jason Scott, who has raced so much better tonight in his 2 heats than he did last night, and Richard Pearce takes third place.
Yeah, but it's about accruing points. That's probably kept Jason Scott in the cusp of being on that back end, not having to go through the rev charge. The back end of the field, though, Nathan Astle, he never really got the urgency to move forward, did he?
And so the absolute brain of Speedway, Mr. Barry Brown, has already computed all this, and it tells me that as a result of that race result, the 3NZ of Luke Brown is guaranteed a front row start on the final, okay? And the best that the 2NZ McPhee can do is to equal Brown's 44 points and get alongside him. He won't be able to exceed him. Nobody else can beat the 44 that Luke Brown's now accumulated. So interesting statistic, and he's no relation to Barry Brown, apparently. I bet you wish he was, but there you go. Yeah, but there you go.
That certainly is an interesting one, because Luke Brown has been, every time he has showed up here at Coke and Woodford Glen,
he's been on it, absolutely on it.
He's been smooth, but he's also smooth. He's saving his car. The car's not got body panels flying off it. He hasn't got marks all over his wing. He hasn't got Nerf bars that are all inside out, and he hasn't shredded tyres. So he is keeping it clean, which may not be the most spectacular way to win a championship, but if you want consistency, that is what you have to do.
You know that the comparison with someone like Chris Cowling is
it's not lost.
It's not lost, really. Seriously, in terms of driving style and technique and approach to winning a championship. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, there's a few replays coming through on the Pits TV there. A little bit of contact between the 32 and the 67.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact throughout that race with cars. We saw it particularly in the early stages, because that was a marathon just to get it going.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there may be a few relegations, but not from the front end of the field. I certainly didn't see Luke Brown involved in any of that.
This is the hardest thing, you know. You do all the effort to get in the car, you go out racing, and then you lose those grid positions because you've done something silly. As our stock cars, who were hoping to do something slightly silly, roll on out. And this race brought to us by, as I screed through here, Mr. Whippy. Probably the right weather for it out there, to be fair, isn't it, Ivor?
Yeah, I've just come back upstairs, and it's quite mild out there. It's not too bad at this stage. We've got a good crowd of fans in here for tonight.
Luke Brown, mate. That looked pretty fast out there, winning again.
Yeah, really happy. The track is just gone. It is so slick, low, high, everywhere. So setup's really crucial, and yeah, managed to get it pretty close, and managed to find a line that works. So I'm not sure how close people were behind me. Wasn't perfect, but definitely a step in the right direction, and yeah, to get a win, bloody awesome.
Yeah, so based on the points, you're going to be coming pretty much off the front for the feature by the looks of it. So well done on that, mate. best of luck for the rest of the evening.
No, thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if it's near the front, top 2 rows, we're really stoked, and yeah, keen to get on with the job. So, cheers.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, coming up we have Koken Group versus the Recreation Hotel Group. This is these guys' last chance to make it to the feature without having to go through the dreaded repecharge. Now, there's quite a few drivers out here that have a great chance of getting straight through. We have the likes of 99C Rocket Ralph, who it looks like he might be facing a repecharge, unfortunately, due to a bad night last night, and 49C Kevin Ban. But in there, we also have the 1NZ Brad Lane. He's sitting very well, only a couple points off the lead, so the best hit he can do will be potentially third in the feature final. But they're all starting to grid up now, so I won't take too much of your time. Let's go back and watch the racing for this epic race and this last heat, second to last heat of the evening.
Get out of here.
Cheers, Vince. I keep thinking about the Vince Martin ads from when I was a kid.
Yeah, goodness. Yeah, he looks a bit like him, doesn't he?
Well, anyway, as we grid up for Heat 14 of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs, our grids for the Koken vs Recreation Hotel Group will look like this. Jason Kalin on pole. To the outside of him is the 99, the Rocket Man, Ralph Godwin. 1NZ Brad Lane. The 63 of Crump on the outside of him. The third row will have Brandon Parkinson with a Tama Holland, the Greymouth combo there, with Evan Nicol and Kevin Ban. The next row, the final spots on the grid will consist of 21H of Gary Parker, and the one spot that has been voided by the 24C car.
So, to be fair, it's pretty much Brad Lane's gig, this one. Simple equation, he's got to get to the front and win it. And if he can do that, he may well put himself near the front row.
To be fair to Godwin, though,
I'm looking at Barry for confirmation, and yep, he will put himself very near the front row, possibly even on it. Yep. But it will depend on what Blair McPhee does. So watch the 1NZ car, see what he does, but there's plenty of desperate drivers behind him, desperate to make that final.
And we're in the starter's hands. We're going to come off Enviro Waste. Godwin is the pace setter. Kalin's beside him. Give him the green and we're racing. And Lane is all over the back of them like a rash. It is the 99 car leading us on the outside. He's only just got the nose in front. But Holland goes round and he takes Evan Nicol and Parker. Nowhere to go.
Holland got into the side of the 5GM, and 5GM got away, but Holland spun as a result of that contact and just drifted across the track enough that Nicol and Parker had to come to a very sudden halt.
As we watch the replay here, you'll see Holland, it was actually Crump checked up on the 5 car.
It was too.
Crump moved down and chopped the nose off a little bit of the 5 car. He had to back out of it, and Atama Holland was running hot, and clearly the brake lights didn't work.
Funny that. So that's going to mean a rerun, and we've got to untangle a couple of cars over there. We talked about this in the previous race, that if cars are tangled up and they need untangling with them.
Well, they're talking to Parker. Now, he has had a shocking couple of nights.
He hasn't gone well.
The car's immaculate. He's a great driver. But just if there's going to be an incident or someone's going to gobble up, you can see here Crump just moved through. Atama Holland, you see the sparks off the rims as they connected. It was more pronounced, I guess, from our angle looking down. You can see the Crump just moved across a little bit. Not enough to actually, say it was malicious, but it was just enough that.
Oh no, I don't think it was malicious at all. But it was eventually what happened. I think also the other thing we can take out of that, the 1NZ car really wanted to get the jump on the start, but as they went into turn 1, he noticeably backed out. Obviously decided, no, I've got to keep the car going. Third's better than a DNF. My chance will come. So that's a very mature decision by Brad Lane there in a heat-of-the-moment situation.
It's uncharacteristic.
No, I didn't want to say that. I did not want to say that, and I don't want to say that. I mean in a heat-of-the-moment situation where he could have pressed on and tried to force the issue, he actually chose to back off and live to fight another day. And that tells you that he's thinking about not just this race, but what's going to happen later tonight.
There's the lifting of Tama Holland's car, and when you can see it across the track, it looked like the right-hand shock had broken its bottom mount and it was sitting on the ground, so they're just lifting it. Somehow out of all of that, Parker's got away with it. And it's
and Evan Nicol as well, by the look of it, his car running there too. We'll get a closer look at the 48 car as it comes back to the infield and see if we can see exactly what went on with it.
Well,
but definitely damaged.
A whole brand new front on the front of that car, courtesy of Raceworks South, Jack Ackers. Jake Ecker, sorry. Who, interesting, is not racing this weekend.
No, I thought he would have brought his car out and raced it, but there you go.
As the 48 GM cars towed to the infield, we go for a complete rerun.
So down the back straight, field grids up again. Lights are still flashing, so we won't go this time round. 48 cars sitting in the middle of the infield. 48, of course, was on the third row of the grid, so that means the 5GM has no one alongside him. Doesn't really affect the equation for Brad Lane, and I imagine he'll do the same again. He will look for a sniff of an opportunity off the start, and if it's not there, he'll sit back and wait till it does present itself. But keep an eye on that 1NZ car. All yours, Jared.
Here we go. Godwin's our pace setter. Kalen once again on the inside. Crump and Lane the next row. Parky's all by himself. We're through Enviro Waste. We're under starters. Brian gives them the green. They're racing. Head down the front straight. And Godwin biffs the car, and there was nothing subtle, or he just threw that car at the corner. And Crump's got out of shape somehow, and then just about got clipped by Kevin Bound on the way through. Kalen back into second with Lane. So the Rocket Man out in front, he will want to get on the gas.
Parkers have gone around.
Oh, Parker's lost the back end.
We'll go yellow. We must go yellow. He's on the track. He can't.
Yeah, there we go.
Not.
So we go yellow as the before the pack enters turn 3. 1 lap down. Now we are getting into some desperate laps, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a bit of desperation showing there. A few taps there. Kevin Ban absolutely foot to the floor to get past... Who was it now? Crump. And Crump very nearly came down on him. Just didn't know he was coming through. And then Crump gets a little tap on the back of the 13 cars. He's desperate, carrying speed into turn 3.
Watching the replay on the Pits TV, courtesy of Edge Parts and Performance. The just lost the back end of the car all by himself. As we go to watch it once again, the pack went through and they froze up. No, they carry on. And Parker, he was sideways midway through the corner and just lost the back end. There's probably one person in the Modifieds that's very familiar with that little incident, and we won't talk about it because of the infamy of it.
True. This track, different to what he raced on last night, and there was much drivier last night. There was a bit more grip last night. By this stage of this evening, the grip that he had last night is gone.
As we completely restart that again, as the Rocket Man leads us away, Lane picked it beautifully, moved over on Crump and shot the gap. He's gone to that outside line, as has Kevin Ban. Kevin's gone searching high. Kalen sensed it. And Godwin looks like he's got the jump that he needed. Lane's looking up the inside of Kalen. Familiar with each other. He can go, throws the 1NZ in. He's actually got a faster speed entry into the corner. Kalen just controlled the corner though. Godwin out in front. Almost sideways as he entered the front straight. But he is in command of the race. He has track position on the side. Lane just choked through the car and discovered there's no boom, no push there. Nothing to hold the right rear up, and he just about put himself into turn 2 wall. Kalen will be feeling good. You know, you can hear the 1NZ behind him, but you can also hear that it's getting quieter. He catches him on the entry into 1, but Kalen
got his foot up it now.
Wow, yeah, Lane's come back at him. All of a sudden, Kalen's had to wake up, and he's now got a battle on. Parky will watch these two. To be honest, he'd probably sit there, wouldn't mind a little bit of wheel rub or someone having a wee spin. As Lane goes to the outside. He knows there's some drive off the back of 2, and he just drives around Kalen, and Kalen has no answer to him until we get to turn 3.
He does.
Kalen just takes him on the brake, but Lane will run that outside line. As they head down to turn 1, there's no drive on that lower part of turn 1. There is nothing there. You slide the car in and hope it still hooks for 2. There's drive up high on the track, and which puts you in good stead going into that feature, thinking, well, if I'm on the outside at the front, it's not the worst thing in the world. It is Ralph Godwin's race, though. We are on lap 7. Back to the 1NZ of Lane. Kalen with Parky, Crump, Ban, Nickel, Parker. As Even Godwin has a wee moment going through
Yeah,
one.
they're going in real deep, aren't they? The speed is to be found deep in one, but the risk is there as well.
It's a lot of risk there. And the problem is that once you go in at that speed, you don't have an option, and there's no room for error on that outside line. But Godwin has got nearly a 2-second lead over Lane. Doesn't look like that on the track. It looks like a lot more. As Godwin heads through Enviro Waste. He's playing on that high line. The car is working for him. He knows the track. He knows it well. And just noticing with Lane, he's carrying a little bit more drive into the corner. He's not backing off as early as he did in the last race. And to be fair, Tony, I'd be thinking now, knowing I've got a bit of space, would you start thinking about just approaching a different driving style at the back end of this race?
Well, look, this has got to be a mental data gathering moment for Brad Lane, okay? Because he won't drive on this track again until the final.
Yeah.
And he needs to see where the grip is now, because this is what it's going to be like mid-race in that 30-lap final.
He has picked up a little bit of track position on the 99 car, but then also Godwin is out there. He knows he's got a bit of a gap because you can hear it. He won't hear the big screaming V8 right on his heels. So why get himself caught in the back markers? Although he did put the car in very sideways.
He did.
But it comes off square down the front straight, takes away heat 14 of the New Zealand Modified Champs courtesy of Garage 16. And at the end of that, he was only 1.1 second ahead of Brad Lane. Thinking about that, Tony,
yeah, but he backed off.
I wonder if he backed off those back markers.
I'm absolutely convinced he backed off there. He knew he was a long way in front, didn't want to get tangled in the back markers, and I think Brad Lane was out searching for grip and found it. He found drive, and I think that's absolutely what happened there. Barry, what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, it's moved Brad Lane up into second place on points at the moment. But, we've got at least 3 competitors in this final heat that can all, none of them can pass Luke Brown, but they can all work up their way into these first 3 rows there where we said it's been just so crucial to be starting, I think.
So they can't pass Brown, but they could pass Lane.
Yeah, they could. Luke Brown at the moment, unless the referee steps in anywhere, didn't see anything in that race, but yeah, Luke's on 44, Brad Lane's on 42, and Bunter Pierce. We've had 14 heats so far. Everybody except these guys in the last heat have had 5 heats each. Yeah. Bunter hasn't actually won a heat, but he's sitting second equal on points. He's had 3 second placings, and he's just been going about his business all weekend. So he'll be starting on the first couple of rows by the looks of it, Bunter Pierce. Because going into this last heat, we've got Blair McPhee, and he's on 34, so he can get up to 44 as well. And
but here's the thing. Luke Brown's looked convincing as a potential winner over a long race. Yes. Brad Lane, well, you never rule him out of anything, all right? He's capable of the most extraordinary things on a track.
He can find a little bit of drive out wide on that last lap. Nobody else can see.
McPhee, he's looked very, very consistent as well. But you look at Bunter Pierce, and I don't know, he just hasn't looked convincing to me in terms of the car.
No.
Okay, so this is it. This is the last opportunity for these guys to collect some points for the final. It'll be interesting to see what the 18C does from a Woodford Glen point of view. He's the one up furthest in the points. It'll be interesting to see where he starts. The last heat before the final. We've got the repecharges, but this is the last chance to collect points. Back up to you guys in the box.
Thank you, Aaron/Vince. Absolutely, just lots going on in the commentary box here at the moment. Pieces of paper being flung at us from all directions. That's the points, is it? As it stands at the moment, we'll give that to Barry and see if that matches with his interpretation of the points. Oh, Jared's come back. I just thought he was gone for the evening and we'd peed you off. But the grids are here. Okay, so 53H off the front. That's Barry Hunter alongside Gary Lennon in the 9, and in the second row, Mike Goulet in the 4C car and the 2NZ of Blair McPhee. Next row, Jacob Mitchell in the 18 car and Jamie Fox in the 11, a mix of young and old there. Tucked in behind them, Naven in the 69 and Gorge in the 21S. And at the back of this race, Alan Haig in the 59 and Hayden Corbett in the 22. So, Barry, what do you make of that? This is the grid as it sits for this heat. What have we got to look for?
Certainly, Blair McPhee off grid 4. He's going to want to come first from there. He's going to want to tie Luke Brown and at least be in with a chance of getting the choice of one or two, I think.
Sorry, say that again, Barry.
Yeah,
Didn't have your
Blair
mic on.
McPhee off grid 4. Certainly, yeah, Blair will be wanting to win from there.
Yep.
He's the only one that can draw level with Luke Brown. So Mike Goulet, he's sitting on grid 3. He's only a couple of points away as well. And Jacob Mitchell, where's he sitting on the grid?
He's grid 5.
Grid 5. So they're the three that can still get right into the mix at this stage of grids 3, 4 and 5. So they'll be the three to keep an eye on: 4C, 2NZ and 18C.
Absolutely. It'll be hard for 18 to get past the 2NZ and the 4 and the 9 in front of it. They're all fast cars. But he's shown some great speed tonight, hasn't he, already? So it is possible.
Well, he certainly showed in his first heat tonight, and the track's pretty similar, that he could run a wide line.
Yep.
He came from grid 9 and that all the way up to third. So, but yeah, with the 4C and 2NZ, he's got a couple of slightly faster opponents to try and pass in this one.
And we've seen in the previous heat that's just run, Barry, that the grip, the drive was high on the track.
Yes.
The progress was made by the cars that ventured out higher. And, that probably favours Mitchell. It probably favours Gary Lennon. It probably doesn't favour quite so much Goulet, who likes to keep it down low. What you got for us, Kinder?
Yeah, well,
one repper charge. Okay, so just that's the news coming through, is that we won't be doing the 2 repper charges, we'll be doing 1 repper charge, and the top 4 will go through.
Yeah, top 4, yes.
Okay. So these guys are gridding up.
That's right. Certainly Gary Lennon as well hasn't had a good weekend, but he's fast enough to win this heat and take points off all those other guys.
Where's the 53?
Not there by the looks of it. So, the pole position car missing.
So Gary Lennon's going to lead them away. He's going to jump. He goes hard and fast, and nothing will change for this heat. He's got McPhee tucked in behind him. He's got Goulet in behind him as well. They're going to make life a little bit difficult for Lennon. It's going to be an interesting 3-way battle there. If those guys leave a gap, Mitchell could absolutely slingshot through it. And he's got Fox alongside him as well, who's also capable of nipping into the smallest of gaps. I'll tell you, folks, the front of this race is going to be fascinating for the first couple of laps.
And Newton Gorge on the road behind Jamie Fox. So all of those guys were up there on points going into tonight.
So we're about to go green, about to go racing. Away we go. Gary Lennon leads us through into turn 1. Mike Goulet wheel lifting. Blair McPhee taking the higher line, gets plenty of grip. Lennon doesn't get the drive, and Goulet runs up the inside of him. How does that happen? Goulet and Lennon side by side into 1 and 2. No quarter given, and it looks as though Goulet's going to come through in the lead. McPhee's in 3rd at the moment. Mitchell's got through into 4th. Jamie Fox, couple of car lengths back. Then we go back to Haig and the 69 of Naven, who's racing with the 21 and the 22 of Corbett at the back of the field. Another lap ticked off for Mike Goulet. He's opening up a gap. It's already 1.4 seconds over the 9 of Lennon, who looks as though he's just holding up the 2NZ car fractionally. You look as though McPhee wants to get on with it, but he's got to go round the outside. Not sure how comfortable he is there. Lennon cuts him off coming out of 4. Smart driving by Lennon. He knows he's got a fast car behind him. He knows he's got to work to keep him there. Mitchell looks quicker than the pair of them, and he's running higher on the track. He's taking that high line through 1 and 2. This is a fascinating battle. Goulet's away. If he can keep this up through the entire race, he's going to win it and bag the points. But the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th is a hot one. Lennon just keeping the car down low. He's allowed McPhee the high line, and McPhee gets the drive, but he's got to navigate 3 and 4. Lennon's quicker through there. No, Lennon backs out of it. McPhee's got the 2nd place. Mitchell will have seen that. He'll work out what he needs to do. Oh, McPhee's gone high into the loose, almost onto the wall, almost lost the place. Lennon didn't know what to do to capitalise on it, couldn't quite get at him. It's Mitchell who nips past the 9 of Lennon. They're going to be side by side out of 4, but I think Mitchell's got the pace, so I don't know, Lennon has. Side by side, nothing between them. Mitchell surely will have the drive out of 2. Neck and neck for 3rd place at the moment. Out front, Mike Goulet's got it in the bag as long as he brings it home. McPhee's got to the 2nd place that he needed, and the battle for 3rd is a hot one indeed between Mitchell and Lennon. Jamie Fox joining this battle now too. He's got quicker over the last couple of laps. He's closed the gap on Mitchell and Lennon. Mitchell seems to have the edge on Gary Lennon and seems to be a bit quicker than Blair McPhee. In a few more laps, he's going to be on the back of McPhee. And I think that's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Fox now approaching the back of the 9 car of Gary Lennon. Is he going to try and make a pass? He needs the points as well to get near the front of that final. Goulet, he's away and gone. The gap back to McPhee, 4.9 seconds. Just 1 second back to Jacob Mitchell. Mitchell's well clear of Lennon now. Lennon in the at risk of falling into the clutches of the 11A car. Fox looking at the options, looking at the inside line. Not quite as high on the track as Lennon through the turns. Mitchell looking for grip up really high on 1 and 2. Not sure if he's found it or not. Don't think the advantage over McPhee was much there. White flag now for Mike Goulet. Just 1 lap for drivers to try. One last ditch effort. Bring it or bin it. What are they going to do? Goulet's running down the back straight. He's got this one in the bag. Just bring it home. McPhee knows he's just got to hold off Mitchell for half a lap more. And I think he's going to do that through Enviro Waste. He slows up. Knows he's got to bring this car home. Mitchell's still hard on it, but he's going to have to settle for 3rd. Gary Lennon 4th, Jamie Fox 5th. Alrighty. And then the rest of the field crossed there. Navan ahead of Corbett and the 21 car of Newton Gorge. And at the back of the field there, oh no, that was the back of the field, because that's actually Goulet almost caught them by the time we got to the end of the race.
Yeah, certainly that pass of Blair McPhee's for 2nd place was so important. That's now put him on grid 2. If he'd have stayed back in that position that he was, he'd have been in a 4-way tie for 2nd, which could see you on grid 2, or it could see you on the 3rd row of the grid.
Yeah,
so,
indeed.
Yeah, so we've got a 3-way tie, the way I see it, on 42 points. I think between Mike Goulet, sitting on 42, Bunda Pierce and
Brad Lane, is it?
Brad Lane, yes, on 42
So we think the front row of the grid will be Luke Brown, and he'll have choice of inside or outside, because he's the top qualifier by 1 point from Blair McPhee, who will be the other person on the front row of the grid. And then, as you say, there's a 3-way tie for the next 3 positions.
3 positions, yeah. So that's assuming the referee doesn't... I mean, all these points are so close.
Yeah.
Normally, if the ref pings them for some sort of infringement, it'll be 2 spots.
Yeah, and that will turn the whole thing on its head, won't it?
It would, and depending on who the 2 cars then that are promoted 1 spot each, they're going up a point, while the other guy's going down 2 points. So it can be a 3-point swing, depending on who's involved. So...
So there we see on the Pits TV live stream. This, I think, is the moment where McPhee slips past Lennon. He was outside. No, it doesn't actually, but it's exciting stuff anyway. He was outside and then cuts to the inside. Right, this is the moment there where he runs round.
He was so close to the concrete wall the lap after he passed Lennon too, wasn't he? I thought he was into it, but somehow he pulled it up just a few millimetres short.
Absolutely, he did. Oh, exciting stuff. Well, that's the complete round, 5 rounds of the qualifying for the New Zealand Modified Championship, brought to us by Garage 16 Media. We'll confirm the points for you later on when the referee tells us he's happy with everything.
All right, I'm here with 99C Ralph Goldwyn. You're the winner of the second to last heat that we just saw. You're looking good out there, mate. You don't know I interrupted you when you were checking if you're on the rapid charge or not. How are you feeling about this whole thing?
Oh look, we've definitely got the car going a lot better than we did last night. We had quite a bad night last night, so the car's feeling really good at the moment. Not making a whole lot of changes, just focusing on trying to get the job done, and hopefully I don't know if I'm in the repcharge or not, hopefully we got through. If not, we'll have to try and do it all again on the repcharge.
If you are on the repcharge, you said your car's in good shape, so would you be confident going into that to make the feature final?
Oh, I think, based on the last 2 races, we'd have to be looking pretty good. It depends whether we're back in traffic or not. Obviously, that's going to make quite a difference on a track like that.
Well, it's excellent to see you've got your car back in form for the rest of the New Zealand Modified Champs. All the best in whatever race you have next. All the best.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
4C, Mike Goulet, you won the last heat there, so that means you're placed very well. You made it through to the final. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we needed to win that race and the one prior to that. We had a rough night last night. The track caught me unawares. It was quite drivey. So, I was pretty happy with that. No, the car went good.
Excellent. And yourself and Jacob Mitchell are leading the charge for the New Zealand Championship for the Christchurch Club. Are you feeling the pressure? How are you feeling going into that final? You look pretty cool.
I had no idea that Jacob and I were doing that. No, Jacob's driving extremely well and quite smart. So, you know, I don't know where we're going to start, but it's just a matter of climbing the ladder.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've done an excellent job so far, and the form that you're in during that heat reminds me of the first 2 rounds of the Modified Super Series last year, where you just left everyone for dead. You were miles in front there. Were you testing out the lines for the feature final in the last bit there, or were you just concentrating on having fun, looking out at the massive crowd, watching you win?
Oh, I was sort of feeling the track out. The track's quite good up top. I went up there the race before that and it felt good, and it's the first time I've tried the bottom in the conditions the track is in, and the bottom's quite good too.
Excellent. Well, all the best for the feature final, Mike, and we'll throw it back up to you guys in the commentary box.
So this is the repecharge. This is the last chance saloon for those drivers that suffered bad luck or just plain weren't quite good enough.
So here we go, the modified repecharge. The starting order on pole was going to be the 11C of Cassandra Massey. To the outside of her, Ian White in the 32 GM. Second row was going to be Nathan Astle on the 10C. He's not going to like being behind the 11 car again. The 48 GM of Tama Holland. And then the next row will be a blank spot, followed by Kevin Band beside him, with Andrew Naven, the 67C, the 69C, will be the 4th row of the grid with the blank spot beside him. And that is because the cars that haven't raced have scored points. The 54 GM will be there with the Evan Nicol in the 13C beside him, and the last spot on the grid, the 59C of Alan Haig.
You'd probably have to say the unluckiest driver of this championship so far.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually had him down as a real dark horse. I
remember you saying that at the beginning of the show yesterday.
I mean, I guess that's the other problem, is that there is a superstition around Speedway that announces curse drivers. I don't buy into it, but
I think Ivan does. But
there's still sufficient evidence to say that we don't help.
Yeah. Well said, anyway. Yes, well said indeed. So remember, the top 4 sneak their way into the back of the 30-lap final. So this race is all about getting into the top 4. You don't have to win it, although, to be fair, the further up you get in that top 4, the further closer to the front you get, or you might say the less close to the back you are.
I'm trying to think who it is. There's a certain saloon driver in the North Island who's retired now, Phil Toogood, or Togood rather. And he did this sort of thing. He came through one of those A, B, C main features to come through to an A main. You can achieve great things by just starting on the grid for the New Zealand title. As we head down the back straight, it is Ian White, Cassandra Massey. They are wheel to wheel. We come through Enviro Waste. We're in the starter's hands. This is the repecharge. Who's going to get the last chance? Ian White, followed by Tama Holland. They fire it all down into turn 1. Kevin Band's gone super wide. He's carrying huge momentum. And he's going to pick up Cassandra down the back straight. Astle's the one that's actually lost out of all this. He's been stuck down low. Ian White, he is on it at the moment. Back to a Tama Holland, Band and Massey. Astle's finally got a bit of clear air and he's got out high and wide. You can see the track's just dusted. It's gone. Thompson's got some forward movement. Haig's there as well.
Look at Nathan Astle go there. Had to back out of it though.
Out in front though, it is Ian White, a Tama Holland. Massey is right on the cuffs there. Band clips the wall. It was only a little nudge, but just enough to unsettle him. Astle is catching the 49 car. 69 of Naven. Massey goes up the inside of the 10, but Astle's carrying that momentum. Thompson, I think his night's done. I don't think he can actually do anything now. Oh no! Kevin Band spins. Massey just clips him on the way through. In fact, to be fair, it straightened him up so everybody could pass him. He is sitting there facing the wrong way. This is what Stephen Thompson needed.
Absolutely.
We know he's got the ability to be in the top 4 here. We know he's got the ability to win a title. But he just hasn't got any forward momentum in this race. So
what you're watching here is desperation, okay? What you're watching are drivers who are desperate to get into that final. Kevin Band, I mean, that was, to me, that was the Cliff Frost drive.
He just lost the back of it, and Cassandra, as she went past, just
Tony
scuffed
Frost,
tyres.
sorry. The Tony Frost drive, you know, that was what we saw here 20 years ago. That just I don't care around the outside approach to life. And look, I've never seen Cassandra Massey drive as aggressively as she is at the moment in this race. She's normally the most careful of modified drivers. She knows what's on the line here. She wants this. This is just fascinating.
We're back in Indian file. Kevin Bann knows where he's going to start this one. He's off the back. It is Ian White, Atama Holland, Nathan Astle, Cassandra Massey. The green is in the air. They come through Enviro Waste. We are racing. They got the green a bit delayed. Atama almost looked like he was going to go up the inside of White before.
Naven sideswipes Massey there.
It is desperation moves now. Astle's got through into second.
Look at Tomo go.
Tomo has got the forward. He fires it in. He goes to the outside, but he can't hang on to it. He's going to go. We've got Bands pulled to the infield. Something's wrong.
Something broke on that car.
Yeah, I'd say it's flat. No, something in the rear is wobbling by the looks of it. It is Atama Holland's being spat out the back here. He got out high and wide, and Naven's got through. Tomo's in. Watch him cut the gap. Massey's going to give him the right rear. Atama goes round. We're under yellow. Well, we will be. There we go. And who did that? So we're going to have to actually look at the replay. Did Atama get assisted out of that? But Thompson, he's caught it on the... Fortunately, he's got a gearbox, and he'll be hooking reverse.
The load of speed that Stephen Thompson gathered down that back straight off the restart, absolutely phenomenal. You'd have to have confidence in your brakes.
So Atama's gone in. He's gone in hot. He's touched the rear wheel of Naven. So Atama's gone in hot. He's been the cause of the accident. Alan Hay, I think he's just stalled it, just trying to avoid everything.
Yeah, I don't think he was really involved other than the fact that he's come to a stop on the track.
And looking at the replay here, courtesy of Pits TV, the front wheel of the 48 car has just gone against the front end. Just ran in hot, just overcompensated, just a little bit there. Thompson nowhere to go, but all he's done is hit that front wheel with the front of his car, and his tyres are all inflated. So hopefully, now Thompson's the one that we've got. This is working into his hands.
If he can get free, if these two cars are not locked together, the way the officials are looking at it there, I'm not so sure. The other thing to mention, saw it clear as day off the restart. Naven feeding the right rear to the 11 car in turn 1 off that restart before.
Yes, that has been frowned upon all weekend because we have.
So if the referees have seen the same thing, that could work against Andrew Naven as well. So look, this is just it's all up in the air. This is all. We just don't know who this top 4 are going to be.
And I guess that's one of the things we joked about. Maybe the stock cars, we might see them again. Because if you don't like the result out of this, there is the ability to protest. Yep. And we don't want drivers to do that. We hate protests. That's not an official statement, but we can pretty much tell you from up here it's a biggest pain. In fact, if I go back to the New Zealand title we had here a few years ago, there was a certain North Island driver that kept the meeting delayed for 45 minutes because he was protesting over 18th spot.
I remember that. We're told to wave. Okay,
no, you can
there
wave.
you go. Don't you wave. Don't you wave.
No, I'm just a puppet. You're the puppet master. No, so, but
anyway.
The other part of this race too, the race is we're actually running out of cars. So we're down to 6 cars.
Kevin Bann on the infield with a mechanical issue. 2 cars locked together in turn 4, desperate not to get outside assistance. But how they can continue without it, I don't know.
If you can pull Atama's car out with the tow truck, he's obviously the one that's caused the incident. It's whether or not they've been caught up. And Thompson, they're just checking the suspension. So, Atama is clear. The tow truck has separated them. Nothing looks... They're giving it if the scrutineer gave it any more checking, he'd be underneath the bonnet and climbing between the panels.
So they've pulled Atama Holland's car out.
So he's being lifted. Front end of that car's had a beating in the last couple of months. But Thompson's sitting on the track. They'll get the scrutiny out of the way. If he refires, in fact, even if he can't refire, they can still push at him because he wasn't the cause of the incident. And the 48 car, once again, unfortunately, towed to the infield. Thompson's going. Right, this makes it interesting because Tomo is on the move. He's prepared to make the brave moves, but he doesn't need someone to do something silly in front of him. We look to the ELS. We have Ian White at the front, although the ELS is telling us he's 4th, but we know that's not true. But we have Astle, Massey, good grief, I'm going to ignore the ELS. That's completely out of shape.
It stopped mid-lap, and I don't think it's quite reset itself back to previous lap. So
Ian White, Nathan Astle, Andrew Naven, Steve Thompson. They're going to put Cassandra, and I think when you go back a lap, this is actually legit.
Yeah, because Thompson made the pass on the lap where it all went wrong.
Yes.
So unfortunately he loses that pass. That's just the nature of the game. You go back to the positions on the previous completed lap. That's the way the rule works. So he has to yield there into 5th place. Behind him, Alan Haig and Evan Nicol.
This is interesting. There's a bit of talent on that 54 and 59 cars. And for what Alan Haig has been through this weekend, it would be fitting just to get it on the grid. As we come through Enviro Waste, Ian White leads us. We are in the starter's hands. Pedestrian start, we get the green, we're away. And has this worked for Tomo? He goes to the outside of Massey. Now remember, in all this time, the track has changed. It's dried out a little bit. Ian White's driving away with it. Tomo goes to the outside on the 11 car. He's going to stay there and he's going to make sure Massey's going to feed him the right rear, make sure he can't come through. It is a real battle there. It is White back to Astle, Naven, Massey, Thompson, Haig, and Tomo has another go back at the 11 car. It's almost like Tomo just can't. Oh, a little bit of contact there between the 69 and the 11. Tomo's just got no forward momentum in the 54.
The drive that he had in the previous laps is kind of not there. He's got it now.
He's got the run here.
But only partially. You see, he can only just get alongside. He can't get ahead.
And who's going to be brave? And Cassandra Massey just cleans out Andrew Naven, and he spun. So that might have just opened the door for Tomo.
Unreal. It's like what I said before. I've never seen Cassandra Massey drive as aggressively as she is in this race. It's like a different driver. Sure, it's not Mike Goulet's hopped in there instead or something. I mean,
no, Mike would have hit him in the first lap. As we watch it, Cassandra
just went in too hot.
She went in too hot, but to be fair, it's it was a considerable speed difference. And I think once right there, you can just see it as we watch the pits TV replay. As soon as she realised it was too hot, she just, we'll just give it the welly full and make sure we get out of it safely. But Tomo doesn't have the go forward that you would have thought. And he's done well to avoid that. I think he's just picked the right line, not by good planning, just by good fortune more than anything. The other part to that too is what damage has that done to the 69 car?
Well, just looking at the replay there and just wondering if his rear tyre was down. That outside rear tyre, is that down?
He's definitely running lower tyre pressures than some of the others.
Just look at it as it comes past commentary. No, it's still, the tyre's still up, but it's very, very low compared to everyone else.
I think he was banking on the fact that this is going to be more of a sprint race and get a bit of heat through it, the tyre would expand.
Right.
And this has been very stop-start.
So Cassandra Massey's been put to the back, obviously by the referee, told to go to the back, deemed a prime cause of that. And they close up down the back straight.
Ian White, Nathan Astle, Andrew Naven, Steve Thompson. We're Indian file. Back to Alan Haig, Evan Nicol, Cassandra Massey. We are in this repechage. Let's get it over and done with. The green is waved. Astle's gone to the inside of White. Tomo's gone to the outside of Naven, and Haig's in. And Tomo's just, he's out. His champ's over. Something's broken in the 54 car, and I don't know if he's going to be able to limp it to the infield. The irony of getting another yellow. Yep, we're under the yellow.
So it's turning into a bit of a race of attrition, this one. The one's left on the track.
Okay, and we've had it confirmed that Newton Gorge is out. So at the moment, as it sits on the track, 5 of these 6 cars are going to go through. So Newton Gorge is now out, the 21 car. He's broken something in the car. Only 1 car at this point is going to miss out.
So the top 5 will go through because Newton Gorge is
he'll do
not
a
racing
DNS.
the final. He's broken something apparently. Surely, yeah, I was thinking that too. The next one should come out of the group.
But because it's rotating points over a night, and there are a whole schedule of points, it's off that whole schedule.
So, little bit confusion up here. We don't know the ins and outs of it as to whether or not the top 5 from the repechage will go through, or if it's still top 4 and the next top on points goes.
Problem is, the next top on points is one of the broken cars on the infield. They might
where
default out of it too. So then the other part to this too is, what happens if we break another car? Do we shorten the race up and just go be done with it?
Yeah.
No, we won't be shortening the race.
So who was the next person? Ian White. So conceivably, Ian White could go through by virtue of being the next highest points getter over the heats, which would then leave the 4 behind him to
Which
be the ones to go through from the
which
repechage.
ironically is
exactly the race order as we have it at the moment.
Now.
So it sounds like it was a drive shaft issue.
Well, if you can't make the
Snapped
back wheels
drive
turn,
shaft.
it's going to be awfully hard. And I guess the only other car on the pits that would match it identically for spare parts would be the 71 car, and I can't see Jacko wanting to pull it out to offer it to Newt for the final.
No.
Anyway.
So, still under yellow, lots of intrigue still to be decided in this race.
Lifting the back of the 54 car, and so I'm just wondering if differential has failed him. He couldn't hook reverse before because he does run a gearbox in that car too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not least, of course, the issue of what the referees may decide based on what they've seen.
And
here we go.
We're in starters' hands again, and we've given them the green, and it is away. We are fighting over one spot. Cassandra Massey goes to the outside of Evan Nicol, and Haig's looking up the inside of the Andrew Naven. So
as far as we can tell, it's a battle between Massey and Nicol for the last spot in the final.
And Massey has made the pass. And
very neatly too, I have to say.
It's actually, White's out in front. He's
gone.
In principle, he didn't actually need to start the race now. Obviously,
no, but he didn't know that. Still doesn't know that.
No, he'll just be wanting to bring this car home. Ian White, when he's on, he is right on. Nathan Astle back to Andrew Naven, Alan Haig and Cassandra Massey. Boy, you could write a book about the work that some of these teams have had to do this weekend. Out in front, Ian White through EnviroWaste, just settles the car in. Nathan Astle has got some pace in the Bassett transport machine. The 69 car just wheel spinning, and he's almost doing a drifting demonstration down the front straight. That car is just chewing its tyres. As we move back to Haig with Massey. Evan Nichols out the back door at the moment. He'll cruise home.
So Astle doesn't need to push things here. He knows he's in second place. He just needs to bring it home. He doesn't need to do anything silly.
And being off near the back row of the grid's not the worst thing. Given that based on what we've seen of a couple of restarts here, it could be a messy start to the 30 lapper.
Very true that. Very true.
Ian White leading us round. The battle the battle is between Haig and Massey, but Massey just clips the back of Haig.
She doesn't know that she doesn't need to make this pass, okay? Because she doesn't know that actually finishing 5th, we think anyway, will get her into the final.
Well, on paper it will. But she's looking to the inside. She's given Haig.
She's given him a run for his money. There's no doubt about it.
I think he's lost his left. Oh no, he hasn't lost his left rear, but the car's got it certainly pitching over the left. Ian White through EnviroWaste in the 32 GM, followed by Nathan Astle. They're going through. They know the final is round the corner. Then we go back to Andrew Naven. There's a battle between Haig and Massey. And on the line, we're actually going to go to here. Massey actually got Haig on the line. She didn't know she didn't need to.
By 2/100ths of a second.
She gets him and out of all of that.
I love it.
So
love
that
it. Hey, look, Ian White, probably one of the unluckier drivers to visit Woodford Glen regularly. Often ends up binning it, often through no fault of his own. To see him through to the final and to get through the final in that way, great story. Nathan Astle had a really unlucky season with issues with that motor. Didn't have a good day yesterday. To see him through to the final, that's fantastic as well. Naven, you undo your helmet and you lose a whole lot of points. It was about time a bit of luck went his way.
To be fair to Andrew Naven, he did say at Stratford that was his last New Zealand Championship, and he's managed to put another 2 more on after that.
He has, so good on him. And look, Cassandra Massey, I just want to say for her, the perennial underdog in this class. Always the driver that you think is going to finish at the end, at the back of the field, just because I don't know why she's still learning. She's still coming to grips with the car. Perhaps the car isn't the top performing machine, but she drove the wheels off that machine. Thoroughly deserves that place.
And ironically, the driver that hates racing her the most, or at least has the biggest issue passing her the most, is actually her father, Mike Gourley.
Yeah.
But
the fantastic performance for her, and for all of those top 4. Yeah, sorry.
Story of the weekend for me is actually car 59, Alan Haig. Disastrous last night.
Yeah.
Horrible last night. He's gone back into the pits thinking he's not in the final because top 4 went through, he got 5th.
Yeah.
He knows that Cassandra got up close to him. Hopefully in his mind he's like, oh, we've slipped through. But the truth is, He's probably thinking he's going to get back to the pits and actually find out that he's starting 20th on the grid.
Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, fairy tale stuff. Unbelievable stuff. Great story around all those placings around that race, and for those people here at Woodford Glen, given that all of those cars were regular visitors here, everyone here who watches racing at Coke and Woodford Glen would know these drivers, know these cars, and know their stories. And I think that just makes the whole race all the more fascinating. And yeah, it's something to tell your grandchildren about.
Yeah, where are you starting from? So you're on third off the grid?
So we're on grid 4. There's 3 of us tied. Mike, myself and Bunter, all in the same ute. So Bunter's on grid 3, I'm grid 4, and Mike's grid 5. So we'll give it a good crack and see how we go.
Okay, Parky, where are you coming from?
I was 8th equal with Jacko, so we done the coin toss and I started off 8th and Jacko's 9th.
Okay, one of the hometown heroes, Mike Gawley, where are you starting from?
5th, I believe.
Good luck there, mate. And Bunter Pierce all the way here from Stratford, where are you off?
Grid 3, mate. I was the lucky one in the marble draw.
Good on you, mate. Well, that's all good. Hopefully we're able to get over there to Vince and have a bit of a chat to him and his drivers.
Yep. Yeah, that's right, Aaron. Look at this crowd, absolutely packed. It's amazing to see. I'm here with 69C Andrew Naven. Mate, you just finished that repechage and you got through to the finals. How was that repechage, mate?
Oh, that's ice skating rink. It's not how we like to drive, but hey, got to get a job done.
You certainly got the job done. And how are you feeling about the feature final?
30 laps on an ice skating rink. We'll just have to wait and see, eh?
Yeah, I'm sure you do fine, mate. It's your home track. You're looking good. I'm going to talk to 71S John Jackson now. Jacko, you're starting on grid number 9 and you are looking in great form. How are you feeling about this tonight?
Oh, I wouldn't say great form, but we've just thrown the toolbox at this thing right now, and I've done things that I've never done before with this setup, so we'll just have to see and just, hey man, she's 30 laps, she's a long one.
That's right, and if anyone's been out to the pits, you might be known as the guy with the Shrek hanging off the back of your car, a little toy doll of Shrek. What's up with that, mate?
Oh, a couple of my crew members look pretty similar. Yeah, so that's a bit of a joke on the back there for that, but the kids seem to love it, eh? So it's pretty cool.
Excellent, mate. All the best for tonight. You're going to do excellent, I'm sure. And I'm going to talk now to 11A Jamie Fox. Mate, you've won 4 national titles. You are one of the greatest of all times. You're looking on form just at the right time of season for this grand final. How are you feeling about your chances? How are you feeling in general?
Oh, like Jacko said, mate, it's a long race. Obviously, this is probably one of the tougher New Zealands I've been to for a while for a number of reasons, the cars and drivers and the track itself. But, hey, we're in with a shot. It's got to come together sometimes. So hopefully if it all comes together, we might see at the end.
No, you've got plenty of experience out there and all the pressure. What are you thinking of the track, and what do you think how do you think about this crowd? It's packed.
Yeah, no, awesome. I'm wrapped for the modified class, and you guys down here at Christchurch at Woodford Glen have done a great job. And I won a New Zealand title here, so I'd very much like to win another one before I retire. But hey, we'll see what happens.
That was 11A Jamie Fox, 4-time New Zealand champion. I've still got a couple of balls to get rid of before we get to the end of the track. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't have with me at the moment, but 3NZ Luke Brown is going to be off the front. He's been in great form. Remember, he won the Canterbury Champions, the South Island Champions, and the North Island Champions. And then on the second grid, we have Blair McPhee from Wellington, the only driver from Wellington in this competition, made it all the way through. Absolutely great form from him. And on the third grid, we have 4C Mike Goulet. He's a local lad. I bet he has plenty of fans out here. And there goes Jamie Fox, throws his ball into the crowd, and Jacko's got one more ball. Who wants this ball? Who wants this ball? We got 71 Jacko. There it goes. That was a terrible throw. No, that was awesome. You're right, mate. I'll throw it back up to you guys in the commentary.
Lots of fun down there on the track, courtesy of Garage 16 Media and the Pits TV. All the drivers are going to be presented with a plaque, I believe, if that's what Steve's pulling out of the cardboard box there. It's either that or bags of chips, I'm not sure which. And that's to mark the fact that they've managed to qualify for the final of the New Zealand title.
And for some of them, it has been a marathon this weekend, hasn't it?
It's been hard work for some of them. some of them have made it look easy. I don't say it has been easy, but they've made it look easy. So it's been a real contrast, as is always the case in any New Zealand title. There's always those that make it look easy, and it belies the hard work that goes in behind the scenes, and then there's those that where you can see the agony and difficulty of it right throughout. Back down to you guys.
Okay, so we got Ivan here. He's going to hand out the qualifiers trophies. So first of all, we have got Bunter Pierce. He's coming off 5th on the grid. Then we got Brad Lane. He is coming off 4th. Then we got Brandon Parkinson. He is coming off 8th. And then we got Mike Gawley. He's coming off 3rd.
All right, I've got another car full here. We've got 18C, Jacob Mitchell. Doing well there. And 88T, Jason Scott. 2NZ, Blair McPhee. 63A, Daniel Crump. And 32GM, Ian White.
Okay, so first of all, we have got Luke Brown. He is coming off the pole. Okay, next up we have Cassandra Massey. She's coming off 18th. Okay, then moving on to Rocket Ralph Godwin. He is coming off 11th. Okay, then we've got Jason Kalin coming off 15th. Okay, then we've got Hayden Corbett. He's coming off 13th. And then Gary Lennon, he is coming off 10th.
All right, and we have 11A, 4-time New Zealand champion, Jamie Fox.
Thank you, mate.
69C in local man, 69C Andrew Naven. And 71S Jacko, John Jackson.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, I just want to have a quick word. Yep. So we had a bit of a chat in the ute on the way around. We threw out some tennis balls, and whoever's got that winning one is going to win a prize. You guys reckon who's got your balls going to be the winner of tonight?
Oh, I hope so. Might be the only winning we do this weekend, so I hope so, yeah.
And Andrew Naven, having gone around the track and seeing this crowd, what are your thoughts on seeing on your track this full come out to watch you and your modified modified peers? I'm spitting it out, mate.
The crowd numbers are awesome. It's great to get the support from such a big crowd on our night. So yeah, awesome.
And working my way around to 71S John Jackson, extremely fun to watch you race, mate. This crowd is, how would you describe it?
Geez, it's huge. Like, this is like a massive effort from everybody to turn up here, and I just hope we can all put a really good show on for the final 30 laps, and like hopefully this rain doesn't get too bad, eh?
Don't mention the rain. We're pretending it's not existing. It'll be fine, mate. But you'll be having a lot of people that are watching back in Stratford on the live stream. What would you say to them?
Hang on and watch the space.
Said perfectly. Nice and understated. Perfect, John Jackson. All right, thanks very much, guys. Good luck for the final of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championships.
And it's also very, very cool to see the Miles Falsey's Classic out there with the balance of these modifieds. He will let it round. Right, the grids, the front row of the grid. It will be the 3NZ on pole. To the outside, McPhee in the 2NZ. Second row will be Pierce in the 67S with the 1NZ. 1, 2, 3NZ all in the first two rows.
Yeah.
Then Mike Gurley in the 4C to the outside. Jacob Mitchell, man on a mission. He has been flying this weekend. Then we go back to Jamie Fox. Watch this man. He is sly. and I'm not making any cliches to the name, in the 11A car. To the outside of him, Brandon Parkinson. He is good on a slick track. Then we go back to Jacko in the 71S. To the outside of him, Gary Lennon in the 9C. The Rocket Man, 99C, Ralph Godwin in 11 with Crump in the 63A. Jason Scott takes the 13th spot. To the outside of him is going to be Hayden Corbett. Jason Kalin gets the 12S in 15th with the Repecharge winner Ian White in 16. Nathan Astel's on 17 in the 10C. Cassandra Massey in the 11C to the outside of him. Andrew Naven in the 59C. And the last car in the grid, the man who has had one heck of a weekend, the 59C of Alan Haig. What a fairy tale that would be.
From last to a top 3.
We have 30 laps.
It's a long, long way. It's a long track. It's a big track.
It's a big track.
It's a long way.
It's roughly 460 odd metres on the pole line. It is one of the bigger tracks here in Speedway within New Zealand. This is a New Zealand final. But we know the top surface is gone. We know this is not a drivey track.
It's not the track it was yesterday. It's totally different. And it will change its character as we move from lap 1 through lap 10, 20 and then 30. At each of those stages of the race, the track character will change. The drivers that are set up for a particular type of surface to race on will be out of sync at some point in the race. Now what's happened here? 1NZ's pulled to the infield.
He's pulled there, but it could be something he's seen. He could be waiting for the pack to come through. He's not just going to pull out into the pack, although he'll get some momentum and then he'll move across.
He's just waiting to reposition himself. Fair enough. Okay, that's what he's done.
That is
saving fuel. Well, that's a good point, Barry. And look, this is the other thing. At 30 laps, particularly if you get a couple of interruptions where they have to do a number of laps under yellow, is pushing the fuel capacity of these cars.
It is. The other part you will see under some of the yellows, some cars will stop and shut themselves off.
Yep.
Because if you're not the primary cause, you can get outside assistance to restart. The other thing is, no one has raced in a 20-car field this weekend.
Correct.
There have been 10-car fields. It's just got twice as hard. The cars around you have just got twice as erratic. Cars that you've raced with all weekend, you've been in your groups of 5, you've got familiar with them. Some of them aren't here anymore. Some of them are in places you wouldn't have thought it. Now, race fans, watch the modified drivers. They're going to go for the 4 wide salute. And thank goodness the Miles' car doesn't have rear view mirrors. You don't want to look at these boys at times. And they will all grin. And this is
Give them a round of applause, folks. They've all done so well to get this far. But the biggest step is in front of them.
Yeah, and it's for some it will be a step too far. For others, it could be they put their name back on the history books, retain their positions within the history books. Bearing in mind, the last time we did a 25-lap race here, or going back to the years when Tony Frost won it.
Yep.
Had that race finished the way it was on paper at lap 23, 1, 2, 3 and Z were never going to change.
That's right. And it all changed in the last 2 laps, and it was a very memorable last 2 laps as well. Sparks flying, literally, off the concrete. But will we see the same tonight? Who knows how it's going to plan out. But we do know that that front row, those top 4, very, very competitive. The next line of 4 you're seeing there, absolutely snapping at the heels of those and giving away nothing to the guys in front of them. So, look, anything could happen.
And it probably
will. I almost said that, anything can happen here, and it's very even. We've not seen one driver dominate this qualifying. We've not seen one driver stamp their mark on this meeting so far in this grade. We've seen a number that are even, a number that are a bit of a step ahead above some of the others, but not one single person putting their own individual mark on it. So it could go anyway.
These drivers know what the cars do after 12 laps.
Yep.
They know what the track does after 12 laps.
Yep.
They do not know what the cars are going to do at lap 20. They do not know what the cars are going to do at lap 25.
Yep.
And lap 29. That is the one that matters. You want to be leading where Luke Brown is right now on lap 29.
Yep.
As you cross, or lap 30 as it is.
And where's the grip? Where's the drive on this track? You're going to have to hunt and find it.
Most of it's lying on the cars in the staff car park.
Yes, most of it's gone over the fence. You're going to have to hunt to find it. You are going to have to go places on this track that maybe you haven't raced on so far this meeting. Maybe places that you're not comfortable being, like right down on the pole line, or right out near the wall.
Out by the wall where the brave
or varying both in the course of one lap.
Yes.
You know, this is the comfort, outside comfort zone. The driver that's prepared to get outside their comfort zone is the one that can best adapt to where the drive is, assuming they can even find the drive in the first place.
So what's the car? What's your engine going to do? What's your chassis going to do? What are your tyres going to do? Have you got the physical stamina to go 30 laps?
Let's just stop asking questions, Jared, and see what happens.
It's in the starter's hands. The dust is down. We have got the green in the air. This is all courtesy of Garage 16. We are racing in our final for the New Zealand Modified title. Luke Brown and McPhee leads us into turn 1. We're funneled in. Bunter Pearce is getting aggressive there with Lane. Gurley's in there as well. They have gone wheel to wheel right the way through the pack. We head down to Enviro Waste. We are 1 lap down and we are in the hands of McPhee. Glory belies him. He just has to bring it home now. Back to Luke Brown. The 1NZ is out high and bouncing. Jacob Mitchell's made moves and he's into third spot. Oh no, he's fighting for third at the moment. He's up the inside of the 1NZ. The 18C car. He's young, he's fit, he's keen and calm as he shoots up the no. The way we've got a spinner and it is the 69 car down at turn 3. Cassandra Massey getting through. Just scuffed him on the way past.
Yep, I didn't actually see him. I'm presuming he took a tiniest of touches. The track's a little bit glassy at the moment, and he went round. It was right at the back. I don't think it's going to affect anyone. Went in too fast. Barry says just touch the back of Astle, we believe. We'll get a replay, I'm sure, soon on the Pit TV's excellent streaming service.
So McPhee, Brown and Lane and the bear, and look at Mitchell. Mitchell's, as we just don't really catch him. He just caught the back of the 10 car, and he will be looking for just an inspection and a wiggle. We are 1 lap down.
Now the wiggle's here.
As we've just.
You'll have to look right at the very edge of the picture.
As the go back in Indian file, they're just checking on the 69 car. And the battle is on between Mitchell and Pearce. Pearce doesn't want to let him back in. So they're going to be a lap or two. And they're going to go racing shortly.
Oh boy, it's just what we expected. That first lap, it's just mayhem. It's just there's no room, there's no space. Every driver's got to have eyes in the back of their head.
Well, the other part too is the way this front pack is shaping up, the way it's manoeuvring. We're going to have back markers really quickly, like really quickly. These guys did. Well, we can't really take much because the first lap was effectively a standing start. And Gurley and Mitchell just discussing over where those cars should be.
So Navan has gone to the back of the field there, so he will have been deemed prime cause there.
Yeah. As we watch, everybody's back in Indian file. Now the other part too is don't do the snooker test, where we get the pack rolls and stops, and then as we go down, because we've got a nice long back straight, the back cars are trying to catch up, and then we end up with this Constantino. We're in the starter's hands now.
Second time lucky.
McPhee takes them high up on the track. He will cut down low, and we are racing once again. It is Blair McPhee leading us. Luke Brown looks to the inside, Bunter's gone to the outside. And Lane has gone up the inside of Bunter Pearce, but Bunter's got the better run, takes that third position. Gurley and Mitchell battling it out. Fox not making any moves just yet. Out in front, it is the 2NZ, followed by the 3, and Lane just sense a level of desperation here, just trying to stay with Bunter. Mitchell's going to stay on that high line, sitting there in the 5th spot. Lane looks up the inside of Pearce. McPhee. Luke Brown hasn't let go of him. We've got a little bit of chaos down at 3 and 4, but out in front, McPhee's gone high on the track. He is pulled away from Luke Brown, and Bunter and Lane really battling for that third spot. Mitchell is there, as is Gurley.
I get the feeling there's more drive on the outside, which is where Bunter and Mitchell are racing at the moment. Brad Lane and Mike Goulet are stuck down low, and I don't think they've got quite as much drive. Out front, it's McPhee. He's got 3 or 4 car lengths over Luke Brown and about 5 or 6 back to this battle for third. The third place battle is where I don't know what's going to happen. Brad Lane trying to move out a little wider. Mitchell wants to go even wider still, but he's dicing with death out there. But it's Bunter Pearce who's got the third place at the moment, and everyone else has got to try and get past him. Luke Brown closing up gradually on the back of McPhee. Let's check the time difference there. Yeah, dropped from 0.9 to 0.7 on that lap. You get the feeling Brown is faster at the moment. Those two are pulling away from Bunter Pearce, who's just holding off the 18 of Mitchell.
It is, Brown is catching McPhee, but Mitchell is the one doing the work here. He is up underneath Bunter, and Lane just trying to defend himself with Gurley. Gurley's gone down low. Now we know Mike comes on strong. We're only 8 laps down in this race. The 69 car limping down low out of 4. The race leader across the start-finish line. Now we're going to start to fall into the back markers. Can you use a back marker to block for yourself if you have to?
Yeah.
Your sense cars, they'll have to approach this differently. And then to get into quite a couple of laps, they'll be into some very dense back markers. We have McPhee across the start-finish line. Back to Brown. Pearce and Mitchell is right on the back of Bunter's bumper. The 69 car has pulled to the infield. Gurley is making ground on the 1NZ.
Brad Lane going high now. He's decided the high line's the place to go and went round the Goulet out of turn 2 there. He's come back down near the pole now through Enviro Waste. Mitchell's shown them a clean pair of heels though, and he's got to work on the 67 of Bunter Pearce. Luke Brown's dropped off a little bit off the 2NZ. Not quite sure where on. A little bit of contact in the back of the pack there. 59 and 63. 63 spun up to the infield. He's off the racing track though. Mitchell alongside Bunter Pearce now. Makes the inside pass out of 1 and 2. But I don't think Bunter Pearce is done yet. Yes, he is. Look at that. Mitchell took the line from him and he's got him. And I think Brad Lane saw that happen too. Oh, Mitchell goes very wide in 3 and 4. Will he have the momentum just to stay ahead of Bunter Pearce? These two cars and drivers are very evenly matched. The leading car, Blair McPhee, gets past the first back marker. That's Cassandra Massey in the 11. And the 2NZ car is just doing the passing a little better, I feel, there, Jared, than Luke Brown.
He is. He got very close to Massey, though. She just about caught the rear nerve bar. Just looking further back through the pack, there's a few little passes going on, and they're getting close. Astor rides the wall down the front straight in the 10 car. But it is McPhee, back to Brown, back to Mitchell. And there's a real battle on here, Gurley and Lane. There is no drive down that bottom end, but Gurley is somehow making it work. Lane cannot do a lot here with Pearce. Mitchell's gone to the outside of Massey. Across the start-finish line again, it is McPhee. 15 laps completed. We go back to Brown. Mitchell staying on that high line. So they've found a little bit of drive up the top. But she's pretty black out there.
Oh, yes.
It is McPhee across the start-finish line. Once again, he is in command. Back to Brown. I don't think Brown can do anything about...
McPhee's increased his lead to 1.7 and the gap back to Mitchell's dropped to 1.5. So Mitchell is gradually closing on Luke Brown and Blair McPhee's gradually pulling away from the 3NZ car. That's how it sits at the moment, Jared.
It really, you've got to think that Brown is praying for a yellow anytime soon just to get back to McPhee. He's losing touch. He's going to have to send him a letter through the mail. Yeah. Mitchell, though, Mitchell's on the move. And now, look at the next pile. It is Lane and Bunter Pearce, and they're on the back of Massey. And she's just got enough speed on that low part of the track to shut it down for them. Fox is in here. He's got past on Gurley, and his Parky's having a look as well. It is our race leader, comes off Enviro Waste. It is the 2NZ of Blair McPhee. We are 19 laps down. We've entered lap 20. 10 to go after this one, race fans. It is Blair McPhee in the C&M car. Back to Luke Brown. Now we're starting to dice with some back markers. Mitchell has got a clear bit of air, Tony.
And the quickest car on the track to me looks to be Jacob Mitchell. He's in third place. He's a long way back from Luke Brown. Brown now closing on the back of the 2NZ car. Blair didn't quite get the entry to turn 1 right there, and he's shaved off a few tenths there, has Luke Brown. I just wonder if the track's starting to come to Brown's setup. I wonder if McPhee's setup starting to go off at this stage of the race. Mitchell, big cloud of dust as he comes out of turn 4. Not sure. I suspect he's really pushing those tyres. Don't know if he's going to last the distance.
Fox is making ground. We're going to get a yellow.
Oh,
this is
32 spins.
In front of the leader too. So we are...
that closes the gaps up.
Almost a bit of history repeating.
Oh,
yellow light on lap 21. And
boy.
the man who has go forward in the middle of this pack, Jamie Fox.
Yes.
He has put himself in 4th position. He's gone past Parkinson, Pierce, Lane. Gooley's spat back to 8th. It is not looking like his night, but somehow that 11A car, wily man that he is, has got through into 4th spot. That is not what Mitchell wants, but equally as much, Luke Brown and Blair McPhee. McPhee had a great gap.
And it's got whittled away. It's got whittled away by the light, but it was being whittled away before the light changed to the yellow. I just wonder how McPhee's car or tyres, his setup or his tyres, is going to last the final 9 laps. Of all the top 4 cars there, it looks to me like Luke Brown and Jamie Fox have the better setup than Jacob Mitchell or Blair McPhee. So a pass somewhere in that top 4, maybe a couple of places in that top 4, definitely on the cards.
And you've got Lane sitting there in 5th. That don't rule out.
Yep. The mad heroic final few laps from Brad Lane. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him, isn't it?
Well, also when you look at what's out there, Brandon Parkinson.
So we think there may be a flat tyre on the 1NZ car. Can we confirm that? Yep, it's on the screen now on the live stream.
Rear.
Definitely, 100%. Left rear is down.
So
the 1NZ.
He's possibly that's going to kill his chances. The only thing he can hope for is that they get going quickly. He gasses it, and the heat of the tyre allows it to stand up. But he'd be really optimistic. I'd say if he doesn't pull in, he will end up spinning himself shortly.
Massey's got put back in behind Father Mike and in front of Gary Lennon because she was a lap car, and so everyone else needs to lap her. You don't unlap yourself under the yellow. The 71 machine's pulled to the infield.
John
Sparks
Jackson
underneath it. Not quite sure what's happening there.
This is interesting. This is very interesting. So the good thing from Jamie Fox's perspective, and he may not even know it, is that the 1NZ car is not going to take off like he can. He can't. The left rear is just not there.
That's right. So it's 2NZ, Blair McPhee, leading 3NZ, Luke Brown, leading Jacob Mitchell in the 18C, the 11A of Jamie Fox, the 1NZ of Brad Lane, but with a flat rear tyre, 67 of Bunter Pierce, and then we go back to the Greymouth car there, the 5 GM of Brandon Parkinson.
We're in the starter's hands now. Fox was sitting back for the slingshot, and I think the 1NZ lane gave him the hurry up through the corner. It is Blair McPhee back to Luke Brown, Jacob Mitchell. The flags in the starter. Brian lets him go.
Messy start.
Ugly start. And the 11 car was already up the inside of the 18 on the start, and it's worked for Fox though. But Luke Brown's taken over the lead. That's what he needed. The car's dialed in now. McPhee's going to come back at him. Fox is in there as well. And this is where Luke Brown shows how good he is. He saved the car. Jamie Fox is there. Jacob Mitchell's going to throw everything. There's not going to be anything wondering.
Luke Brown's pulling away. Fox almost alongside the 2NZ. Mitchell coming in the back now. There's nothing in it. Luke Brown's got this. That's 22 laps completed now. He just needs to bring this home. But the battle for second, third, fourth, it's intriguing and intense.
The 1NZ's just fallen to be engulfed by the pack.
Yep, he's a gone-burger.
But Mitchell has not given up. He's gone to that high line. He's seen the videos. He knows you can be a hero or zero. He's gone out high and wide. And it's kind of working. It's keeping him in touch. Luke Brown's decided he wants his name back on that trophy. He wants to be 1NZ as he comes off in viral waste. He will clock down lap 24, entering lap 25, Tony.
Brad Lane dead last now, and he's going to be lapped in the next lap, I think, by Luke Brown. Luke Brown's got, 10, 12 car lengths over McPhee. McPhee falling back into the clutches of Fox. Mitchell keeping Fox honest, but on a very different line. Fox is glued to the pole line. Mitchell is just about glued to the wall. Bunter Pierce just dropping back, can't make any impact there. Goulet trying the middle line on the track. No drive, no success there for him either.
The tyre disintegrated on the 1NZ down the back straight.
And he's pulled to the infield. So Luke Brown still leads. It's a good lead. It's a healthy lead. 26 laps down now. Just 4 to go for Luke Brown. And it's McPhee in the 2NZ who's under pressure, but he's coping with the pressure. He's staying ahead of Fox and Mitchell. And here comes Bunter Pearce to join the party. I suspect those brakes are pretty nearly shot on Pearce's car, but he's giving it a show anyway. The battle for third, intriguing. Jared.
It certainly is. We are into the last 4 laps. It is Luke Brown as we head through Enviro Waste back to McPhee. Jamie Fox, he's been quiet all weekend, and the reason he's been quiet, he's been sneaking up on them all.
Yeah.
Luke Brown, he is coming around. The white flag is in Brian's hands. We're on lap 28 now. Luke Brown will come through Enviro Waste. The white flag goes out. This is it. He's just got to keep it square, keep it home. McPhee back to Fox. Mitchell has got the 67 on his tail. I don't think he's got track position. Gourley's coming back at Bunter Pearce. Luke Brown's gone past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand through Enviro Waste, and give it up, race fans, the new Zealand champion, the 3NZ, now 1NZ of Luke Brown, followed by Blair McPhee and Jamie Fox.
Wow, what a race. Had everything, didn't it? Had the drama we were looking for, and it just had the excitement of you'd have to say probably the favourite winning it, the favourite coming into this tournament, this competition. He'd come down to Woodford Glen and looked very composed all season. Every time he's visited here, he's won just about everything else going in the North Island this season. He would have to have been one of the top favourites, but he had to work for it.
And as an ambassador of the sport, he has been great for it. Of course, he had the 1NZ a season or so ago. Now he's back, and they'll be getting thumbs up. McPhee, 21 laps of it was going to be his, but at the end of the day, when you do the big wash up, he's moved one more step. Well, he's retained actually.
Well, he's retained his 2NZ.
Retained 2NZ, proving that he deserves to be back on that podium. And Jamie Fox, no surprises.
No.
He had a very quiet weekend, and in fact, he did start in that top 4 rows and brought it home. Jacob Mitchell, so close, but many years to learn the same racecraft.
Let's talk about the rest of them. Goulet came in 5th, Bunter Pearce 6th, Brandon Parkinson 7th, Jason Kalin was 8th.
And
Jason
Kalin
Scott
was actually the fastest car on the track.
Yes.
He clocked the fastest lap.
Done the fastest lap, 17.16. Jason Scott was 9th, Hayden Corbett 10th, Ralph Godwin 11th, Nathan Astle 12th, Gary Lennon 13th, Ian White finished 14th, Alan Haig finished 15th and on the lead lap, and then 1 lap down was Cassandra Massey in the 11C car finishing 16th. DNFs to Lane, Jackson, Crump and Naven.
And I would say after the checkered flag, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the flag go out the window into a couple of donuts.
Yeah, indeed. Fantastic race, and congratulations to Luke Brown, a New Zealand champion. Yep, I think he's trying to set up for it.
Here we go. Oh, no. And, of course, the 2NZ of McPhee, he's going around. They're just got to pick up a little bit of debris off the track because that tyre didn't delaminate on Brad Lane's car. It exploded.
Rather more exploded, didn't it? Yeah, it did.
Shredded on the back straight. And, of course, the other part of it, too, is that they're just making sure they've got the right placings because when they come back in, these cars will all be getting scaled.
Yep.
And
meaning weighed.
Yes.
Yep.
But give him a hand, race fans. He has been clean and fast all weekend. Look at the car. Not a mark
on it. I know. And that's the mark of a driver that's absolutely in tune with his vehicle, absolutely in tune with what's happening on the racetrack in front of him, using his eyes, driving far ahead down the track, not just looking down his bonnet.
He's been told to go do the donuts. He's been given permission.
You're about to see a very happy Luke Brown.
Mind you, probably wants to get the donuts in before the ramp for the ramp race derby goes out. No, he's going to come back in. The other thing too, and we saw this many years ago with Skinny Colson. Skinny Colson came out after winning a final to do donuts, only to run out of fuel.
Yeah, that's true. I also saw Skinny Colson do a lap of the track on his feet, running around the track with a flag. That was at Nelson, I think.
Yeah, same meeting.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, a few of these cars will just take the opportunity to run down, just let the cars cool down a little bit as we set the ramps for the ramp race derby. So you people over there in the grandstand, you're about to see some cars go flying. As we, Jamie Fox, he's made they were really hampered by the COVID shutdown. Of course, being an Auckland-based car, the issue for them wasn't so much restriction. The issue was that they couldn't actually make the ferry crossing because there just wasn't enough time to get here. So under the previous regime, there's a number of cars that couldn't have made it. He did manage to make it a week later to the GP in Greymouth, but then to come back here and to pull a small number, I'm sure him and his team will be very, very happy. It is a outstanding result for Luke Brown, Jamie Fox and Blair McPhee, but what it also does say is maybe the power base for modifieds is right in that Auckland area.
Yeah, you'd have to agree with that. You'd have to agree with that. And the two numbers retained from two small numbers retained from last season as well tells you that those guys really are the cream of the crop at the moment.
But the other story for the weekend, Jacob Mitchell, you wouldn't have put no, it's no disrespect intended. You wouldn't have put some money on that if you didn't know the pedigree, the heritage, the family behind the car. You would have gone, oh, he's a young fella, he started racing. And but the end result, he's got a big future in this sport. He came back after a massive rollover last year with the ex-Glen Leach car, and the end result for this weekend for him, whilst it might not be the podium and the number that he wanted, it is certainly
a huge boost to his confidence and his skills. You know, he's run with the best and given away nothing to them. So, you know. And
don't get me wrong, there's plenty of stories in the pits of how bad it's been this weekend for a few drivers. As we look through. And yes, of course, next season they get to go and defend these titles again, don't they?
Yeah, at Huntly next season. So Brad Lane's home track, a track that a lot of these guys race on very regularly. I'm not sure if it's a track Jacob Mitchell's ever visited. He might have to make a trip up there earlier in the season.
That, yes. But and of course, when the racing's over and done with, you can go and see the Decker sign.
Indeed. So
actually,
we're going to have
in all honesty, I went up there for a business trip a few years ago, and that was the highlight of the trip. No,
there you go.
No,
fair enough.
Facetious. But anyway, the ramp goes out. The cars that have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I do believe the Garage 16 guys will be joining them on the infield for the presentation of our New Zealand title.
So we've got Bill and Ben on the infield there, and
they're phoning you to tell you what's going on. Hi, Ivan. We know you. Tony will find out what we're doing now, and our 1, 2, 3, and 4 NZs.
Yeah, sure. So we're going to cross to Aaron in the middle for the presentation.
Okay, Blair McPhee, it's been confirmed you have kept your 2NZ. You're leading out there at the front, got snuck past by after that restart, but still kept that number on the car. How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, no, I was saving on side riding, aren't we? But no, I'm absolutely stoked, to be quite honest. Yeah, probably didn't really need that restart. I think that sort of upset the car a little bit, and yeah, no, absolutely chuffed, eh?
Sweet, mate. So the Lone Wolf down here from Wellington, representing your team and your sponsors and everyone that helps make this happen. So you want to say a few words about that?
Oh man, I just can't thank everyone enough that's behind the team. Yeah, just especially the old man and my old lady. They just, you know, they've backed me from the start, and then yeah, just everyone. It just means a lot, and it's massive thanks to my wife and my kids for putting up with my shit doing this, and yeah, me dragging them all around the country. It's just, yeah, absolutely amazing.
Magic, mate. Well, thank you very much to you. And so we've got the 2NZ confirmed. Blair McPhee from Wellington. Vince here is going to present you with a bottle of champers on behalf of Garage 16. Congratulations to 2NZ Blair McPhee! Okay, so we're going to bring up the 1NZ now. Mate, you are a 2-time champion of the modified class. You have had an amazing season, especially down here at Woodford Glen. So, look, you came down here, Canterbury champ, South Island champ, you went back up north for the North Islands. Now the 1NZ title, mate. How you feeling?
Oh man, I just can't believe it. It's just a dream come true to win one and then to win another. It's just, I'm pretty lost for words. There's a good bunch of talent in the class right now. A lot of good guys with good gear, young guys coming through. You've got to stay sharp every race. I'm over the moon. I'd just like to thank my crew, Dad, Mark, Tash and Ryan Neve tonight. You guys, busted hard and you know that the results there. And of course a big thanks to Garage 16 for sponsoring this event. It's one of the biggest New Zealand Modified Champs in a long time, and these guys back in the class the last couple of years, it just goes to show the quality of racing and everything. A huge thanks to all my sponsors, my primary sponsor Pallet Supplies. He's come on board the last couple of years and he's been real awesome. And of course all my other sponsors, Dodd Civil Consultants, Chilex Group, Garage 16, Smith Racing, PG Hydraulics, Penrose Motors and Track Sport Engines. Those are the guys that make the wheels turn, and it really is a team effort. At the end of the day, we're a pretty small team and it really takes a team effort to get these results. But yeah, I'm bloody stoked, eh?
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, Vince is going to present the Champers to the new 1NZ Modified Driver for 2021. Put your hands together for Luke Brown. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've just got some stuff going on just to confirm things, and we're just... Okay. So at the moment, we're just going to bring Jacob Mitchell over here. So leading South Island car, and at the moment, provisionally in 4th place. I know the referees are having a bit of a look upstairs up there. How was that final for you, mate? And I know we're gonna find out your actual result, whether it's 4th or 3rd. But how are you feeling at the moment?
At the moment, I'm hyped. To do it here in the home crowd, leading South Island car. I'm pretty much coming in as the underdog, and here I am. So yeah.
And how is this Woodford Glen crowd, mate? Look at how many people have turned up to support you guys. This is absolutely awesome. This crowd is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I couldn't do it without my team, They've all helped. Sean, Dad, Tash, Shell, Lockie, Mike, and everyone else who helps out. Cam last night, it was real cool. And also all my sponsors, Without them, we wouldn't be here at all, so...
Absolutely. Well, we've got a little bit of waiting to do just to get the official word, but 3rd or 4th, congratulations to you, mate. You've done an amazing job, and just hold on there, folks. We're going to come back to you very soon and let you know the official results for 3rd in the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championship very soon.
So we've actually had the referee in here explaining to us what has happened.
Yeah.
And it was very, very clear to the drivers that you had to stay in Indian file. You broke Indian file, you were instantly out. The rule states that. You break Indian file, you're out. And also...
the referee tells us that he told the drivers that over the headset during the yellow.
And then, of course, being up beside the 18 car, the 11A car was basically put the 18 car at a disadvantage. So there's actually 2 rules there that support the referee's decision.
So as far as the referee is concerned, the correct placings have been given. He tells us those are the 3 official cars, and and we're watching the replay on the Pits TV, and it certainly supports what the referee saw as well. That doesn't mean that Jamie Fox can't protest the decision and have it reviewed. He may choose to do that, but for now, the referee's confident that he's got the correct 3 cars on the infield.
And certainly you watch it. Yeah, look in there instantly as we watch the Pits TV replay. He was well and truly out of file. The 18 car was right on the tube of Luke Brown. And unfortunately, Jamie's going to have, if he does take exception to that, is going to have a challenging time getting...
so they're going round on the back of the ute. Make sure you give them a big round of applause. Go up to the fence and congratulate them on 3 fantastic drives. 3 very different drives. But it's netted them a small number on their car, and of course, one of them is our local.
It is.
So, give it up for Jacob Mitchell.
And effectively his second season of
His
racing.
second season of racing at age 18. It's a fair old achievement, that. Not to minimise the achievement of Luke Brown and Blair McPhee either. Great competitors over a number of years, and not their first time with a small number on the car, obviously, as their current cars show. So give them a round of applause. Show them you appreciate the work and effort. This is the culmination of not just one race meeting, but a whole season of preparation that's gone in. This time last year, drivers would have been thinking, right, how do I set my car up to win at Woodford Glen? A whole winter of working on a car in a shed, a whole season of racing to then culminates in tonight. And we've just seen the ELS updated with the 11A car showing now as excluded on the ELS. So
unfortunately for Jamie and his team, they're actually going through the qualification, the testing procedures on the car down there. It's ELS was out of him.
Congratulations to Gary Lennon, who finished both 12th and 13th according to the ELS, but not many drivers who can say that. So as they go round, give them a round of applause. Great racing from everyone else, of course, and you'll be able to catch up with your favourite driver in the pits after the meeting. Go and commiserate with them or congratulate them as you choose. But those are your top three, and what a top three they are.
I am here with Greg Brown, the father and crew chief of the new 1NZ Luke Brown. Congratulations, Greg. You're a huge part of the team. Tell us, as a father, as a crew chief, how do you feel at this very moment?
Man, this is, we come down here and Luke said, it'd be good to put a number back on the car. And I said, that'd be really great, son, if you can do that. But he said, I want to be better. He said, I've had a one before, and he said, I think I can do it again. And I said, well, there's a lot of good cars down here and a lot of good players, but the way he sets himself up and his racecraft and the way he goes about and he analyses all the other drivers, then he works out the setup that he wants to make himself go fast, and he's a man on a mission. So, a parent couldn't be prouder.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic watching you guys working as a team. We've had the pleasure of following you over the last couple of years, from the 1NZ to the 3NZ to the 1NZ. You've proved a point, guys. When you got that 1NZ, people were like, who is this Luke Brown guy? Haven't heard much about him, but everyone knows who 1NZ Luke Brown is now, right?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he's back again. And same with Brad and Blair and Luke. They've all done mini stocks before. So it just goes to show that grooms people into good other sports and that sort of thing. But as far as the modifieds go, there's three good guys that put on a really good effort. We travel high and low all over the country with the help of our sponsors as well. But there's the results again tonight. Some fantastic racing over all those laps. Very little carnage, very little damage. And once again, the cream's on top of the coffee.
That's right, mate. Excellent. Well, congratulations again. 1NZ, Luke Brown. Greg Brown, as his father, couldn't be more proud. I'll hand it back to you guys in the commentary box there. Thanks very much. I am here with 18C, Jacob Mitchell. Scratch that, not 18C, 3NZ, Jacob Mitchell. Can you believe it, mate? How are you feeling about this one?
Oh, it's fucking awesome. Oh, it's awesome. First national title, can't complain with a three. So we'll be, yeah.
And can we just remind people how old you are? Because you're the youngest in this field and you're giving it to them. How old are you?
18. So.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I look 12, but I'm 18.
you got a better moustache than me. No, man, you've done absolutely amazing. Your performance all weekend, you've been delighting fans at your home track as well. How did it feel with that crowd out there, mate? With your home track filled to the brim to watch you take 3NZ at the New Zealand Modified Champions?
Yeah, it's awesome to do it at our home track. So, yeah, the crowd was cool. When I was on the back of the U, everyone was cheering. That was cool, yeah.
Yeah, sweet, man. And as you can see behind you, they're changing the number already, so they're pretty proud. How long have you actually been driving a modified for?
Oh, I did 4 races last season, so I wrote it off, and then this is my first full season, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, how about we just go into a first full season and take a 3NZ, eh?
Yeah, I can't complain with that. It's huge thanks to all my crew and all these boys and everything.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so your crew does a huge job, but you've also got some pretty important sponsors. Your sponsors are going to be really happy, mate. Who are some of the sponsors that help you out to get you to where you are?
The big ones are Fellow Homes, Ivan and Michelle Stanisic for supporting me this season. It's been real cool. high-tech sheet metals, you know, Goff and Barbara and all the boys that I work with there for doing all the fuel and stuff is real cool. And then, of course, Gavin Hill, HPE, supplying a main motor, has been on form all night, all 2 nights, so yeah.
Excellent, mate. Well, 3 NZ at the 2021 Garage 16 New Zealand Championships. Is there anything you'd like to say to anyone watching? Last words.
No, just cheers everyone for their support. It's been cool. It's been an awesome weekend. I'll have to start doing some travelling next season, I guess. And
Yeah, no, I'm sure a lot of tracks will want to see you there now that you're 3 NZ. Jacob Mitchell, 3 NZ, congratulations. I'm going to let you go and enjoy your crew and everything like that. Well done. Very well done. Excellent. Aaron, how about that?
How about this championship, mate? Has been absolutely brilliant. The 2021 Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs here at Coke and Woodford Glen Speedway. It has been brilliant. A huge thank you from us to the Pits TV for letting them come on, for letting us come on their show.
They've been all right.
Yeah,
they've been awesome.
They've been awesome. No, look, it has been really, really good to collaborate on this. Thanks to Woodford Glen, and thanks to all the fans that have come out, or all the fans that have bought the stream. Keep your eye out for the modifieds, because this class is just going to grow and grow, and the action is going to get better and better.
That's exactly right, and keep your eye on the Pits TV, because they are bringing the Battle of the Stocks in 2 weeks' time. So check that out on www.thepitstv.co.nz. Also check out the final results from this evening on the Coke and Woodford Glen website, which is www.woodfordglen.co.nz. You can check out our stuff too if you feel the need, but we've got a lot of stuff on modifieds, which is pretty awesome. Check us out on garage16media.co.nz. You can check us out on Facebook as well, just look us up, and YouTube, and while you're at it, Instagram, because you know that's the new thing, right, Aaron?
Certainly is. So that's it from us.
I think that might be it. Let's start the party.
All right, let's go.
Fail.